rigmarole where the wild things flow. Rigmarole, the voice of the fight. Dolph and James are shining the light.
Welcome, everybody, to
Welcome.
the Rigmarole Podcast.
Rigmarole Podcast!
Why do you always have to, scream it?
Because it's exciting.
I mean, I find it exciting, but
I find it exciting.
do you find it that exciting?
Yes. Watch this. See, it's like, welcome, everybody, to the Rigmarole Podcast
It's
with Dolph and James. I'm James. That's Dolph.
It's like you're being, and that's James. You're being, over-hype about it, like you're compensating.
So, like I said, we're starting this podcast off, and I am the host. I'm James, and that's Dolph over there. We also have a guest, and guests are awesome. It's a guest we had last time, and his name is Anthony.
That's right, yeah.
And we also have Dolph.
So this episode was not brought to you by Better Health. So, yeah, Anthony is joining us again for this episode.
He is.
Yeah.
Hello.
I thought it went well
Go out
last
there
time.
and podcast land.
I thought it went
Yeah,
pretty well.
double the pleasure, double the fun.
Welcome to
Double
Rigmarole
See, he gets it.
I mean, I get it too.
Apparently not.
with
You're way
James
too hype about
and
it.
Dolph and Anthony.
And Dolph.
And me.
And Dolph.
Yeah.
That's that's one of those things. You know what I mean?
How dare you? How dare you? All right. Well, I mean, I guess.
What's up, fellas?
Not much, man.
About the same thing that was going on last time when we did this.
Yeah.
I think.
Damn it.
Yeah. I've not had any new developments the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, nothing.
Yeah. Anything interesting happened to you since the last time that we've done this, Mr. Anthony?
I thought I found a third ball.
I take it that being that
I
you
didn't
said
know
you
about
thought
this.
you did means that you in fact did not.
Did you find a lump?
Oh yeah, I was incorrect.
Well,
No,
that's good.
What happened?
it was just swollen.
I mean, that still doesn't sound great. What happened? Did you get kicked? Did
That
you
sounds like
smack it?
he needs some better health.
I do need some better help.
Not
No,
a
it's
sponsor.
it's actually funny. I use that. You all know I've used that joke a lot. Like, how's that third ball treating you, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like, occasionally, hey, how's that third ball treating you? Well, one of my brothers, he had this thing done, and he's got like this pump down there, and he's the only person I ever met that now has 3 balls. So when I see him, I can use that joke for real. I'm like, hey, how's that third ball treating you?
I have to ask you a question.
What?
Not to be insensitive in any kind of way, but
He's going to be.
are you slightly
Will.
Are you slightly jealous at the fact that your brother has 3 balls, but you don't have the 2 dicks?
No.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
No, not at all.
That's good.
Our buddy Ben has 3 nipples.
Does he really?
You've never seen Ben's third nipple?
No.
Ben has a third nipple.
This sounds familiar to me,
What?
actually.
It's not an actual nipple. It's a mole that is shaped like a nipple. It's got a round circle like the areola, and it's got a bump in the middle of it. It looks like a nipple. It's like right here.
You know what the medical term for that is?
A third nipple.
It's a nubbin.
I prefer third nipple.
No, it's not.
It is a nubbin. Yeah. Yes, it is.
No,
Google it.
it's
Google
not.
it. Google medical term.
I don't
for third
want to.
nipple. It is nubbin.
I will do this right now.
Dolph,
Google
it is
it.
so hard. It is so hard to take you seriously sometimes.
And that's my own making. Like I've bullshitted so much over the years, but
Yes,
it
you
is
really
really
have.
called a nubbin. Tell me if I'm right. I bet you I'm right.
We're gonna find out what survey says
Oh, I think you're wrong.
What?
here. Oh,
I'm not. No.
The medical term for a third nipple is supernumerary.
Okay.
Supernumerary
Type
nipple.
in third nipple nubbin and see what happens. Nubbin.
I know what's gonna happen. Nubbin.
Touche.
Yes.
A third nipple, also known as a supernumerary nipple, accessory nipple, or an ectopic nipple, is a congenital condition where a person is born with an extra nipple. The term nubbin is a small lump or residual part, and was used by Chandler Bing on the TV show Friends to refer to his third nipple.
That is where I learned it.
Oh, that okay.
Well, there it is.
Yeah, there it is. All right, well, I mean, it's mentioned at least.
But yeah, ask Ben next time. He has a third nipple.
That's cool.
The beard.
Like, hey, Ben, how's that nubbin?
The beard has a nubbin.
Oh man. I think it's funny. Like one of the last in-person conversations I had with Ben was him talking about his business, the idea that he had for
Cotton candy?
No, he loves cotton candy, but no, Merck's Merkins. You remember that?
No.
Oh my God, were you there for that, Anthony? It was
Possibly.
it was at the wrestling show at the arena in the parking lot, and he told us that a Merkin
Yes.
was a wig made
Was the wig, yeah. Merck's Merkins.
made
Yeah, dude, I
completely out
remember
of
that.
pubic hair.
Oh God.
And he wanted, because his last name is what it is, he wanted to be Merck's Merkins. It'd be great.
Interesting.
It'd be fantastic. We can mention that.
Oh,
We can edit that out.
Merkins.
Yeah, that's fine.
Gosh.
That's funny.
It's hilarious.
It is very funny.
I mean, I wouldn't buy one, but that's just because I'm bald.
He'd probably give you one, though.
Yeah, he probably would.
You could set it on your table right there and advertise Merck's Merkins.
I don't know that.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd want to look at that all the
I
time.
don't think I would do that one.
Yeah. This episode was definitely not sponsored by Merck's Merkins. Man. Good stuff.
Yeah, that's funny.
The longest time, I did not know what a Merkin was.
I think I just found
was
out.
like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
Really? You didn't know?
That's what
I
I said.
don't
I
feel
just
bad.
found out.
You just found out? I mean, I just found out
It's like the
the
more you
time
know.
that I found out.
You know.
Yeah.
Oh, the fucking star.
You're a
So-
freaking star.
So you people watching and listening are not going to understand this reference. But
Anthony will.
when you told me, add a little star, like the more you know thing, like I had no idea like what you were talking about, but I pretended like I did. So I'm just like, okay, well, I'll just do this, and
Uh huh.
a freaking star.
Yes, we had a mascot for our wrestling back in the day.
A freaking star.
I remember freaking star.
Remember freaking star?
I don't know if I told you this, Anthony, but he knows.
I love it.
At my work, there's this one particular tank on one of the levels that had like a bunch of dirt on it. I got my finger wet and I drew a freaking star on it. And
Did you? That's
it-
awesome.
It has been there for over 2 years now.
Yay!
It's still there.
That's great news.
Speaking of that, do either one of you remember like when we would work at the Hill on Wednesdays, and we'd be doing lots, and occasionally I would like draw the Ha Ha Jones face on like condensation filled
Yes.
car windows.
Yes.
That was wonderful.
Dude, I remember you drawing Ha Ha Jones everywhere.
Anthony, I don't know if you were there for it, James. I really don't. It was at your apartment or your mom's apartment. Do you remember the night of the labels?
Yes.
Yes.
You were there, weren't you? Fucking label man.
Yes,
you
I
were
do.
label man. That was wonderful.
Yes.
Are you going to describe label?
I
and
probably
Label Man?
should. So how this started?
Go into it a little bit there. Yeah.
How this started was we were just sitting like just bullshitting like we normally did. And,
Like this?
Yeah, like
and,
always.
And honestly, it was compared to what was normally going on, it was a pretty docile night. Like it was, nothing going on. We
Not
were
like
just sitting and
barbecue
talking.
slaps and
Fucking barbecue slaps, yeah. No titties, no barbecue slaps, no one getting drunk. It was a pretty calm, tame night. And I remember Anthony was having a conversation with your mom, and I just like drew this little Ha Ha Jones face. I'll explain what that is later. On a little piece of tape or something, and I just stuck it to Anthony's shirt. And
I think it was masking tape.
yeah. And I just kept doing that, and eventually everybody in the house started putting all kinds of fucking things on labels and just sticking them to everybody. Mainly Anthony. He had so many on him.
Yeah.
And he was like,
Those covered in them.
somebody, I don't remember who it was, but somebody got really creative and like went into the kitchen, got a can of soup, took the label off and taped it to him because it was a soup label. So it's still technically a label.
That's funny.
It was great.
See, you were talking about drawing stuff in condensate.
Mm-hmm.
I remember
That's the word.
Yes, I remember, well, condensation, but it's condensate. But
Condensate.
either way, I remember at my last job, remember we were walking out, it was third shift, we were walking out in the morning, so all the windows were like that.
Yeah.
And there was a girl who was like, look what they did to my window. And all it was a smiley face. It was just like dot, dot, that, and it was a little mouth. And she was like, I was like, well, that's not that bad. They could have did a lot worse. And she said, yeah, but still, people are
like
drawing.
this.
People are drawing on my car. And I was like, here, I'll fix it. And I walked over, and where the eyes were, I just did like a around it, and then made it connect down to the bottom line, and basically turned it into like a topless lady.
That's
and
funny.
turned the eyes into boobs. I was like, see, that's a lot better. And she was like, what the
Well
fuck,
done.
James?
Speaking of like weird surprises in the car after getting off work at Porter's, I don't remember which employee it was. It was one of the security guys. Do you remember going out and
It was John's car.
It was John. The drunk girl passed out in the back.
The same John we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
That motherfucker.
Yeah, like we were doing lots and we noticed that there was a drunk girl passed out in the back seat of.
It wasn't his back seat. It was his front seat.
Was it his front seat?
It was. It was his passenger seat.
It was, yeah. And like he had no idea who it was, and she had just wandered into his car.
Yeah, and she wouldn't get out.
No.
Well, even after we
Damn.
woke her up, she wouldn't get out. They had to
No.
like call the cops, and then
Yeah, she was like, "I'm fucking sleeping. Leave me alone."
yeah, I remember the cops had to like agree. The cops didn't arrest her. They took her home.
Mm-hmm.
They were nice about it. They drove her home, or at least they said they did.
Not trying to like insinuate anything here, but knowing Louisville Metro cops, I'm hoping all they did was
Yeah, I'm
cover
hoping
her.
they took her home because I think she
I'm-
said she lived in Sellersburg or something.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that's all that happened. Don't get me
You
wrong.
guys remember? Okay, I remember working at Porter's one night, and it was one of the bar backs. I forget his name, but you'll know who I'm talking about.
All right.
Kit Dale?
This guy had bought this chick a drink, and she decided she was not going to drink it. And he helped himself to it, and he wound up getting roofied. And we had to,
Was that Woo?
and he got
Did that
so
really happen?
weird
I
and
don't remember this.
all that, and we had to take him home in downtown Louisville. You don't remember that?
I don't remember taking anybody home.
That
was
sounds
groovy.
really
'Cause
familiar.
he
but
rode in the trunk of the car because we couldn't fit him because the car was packed.
That sounds familiar.
And he was all flopping, and he was like blah blah, and he was acting all
Was
weird
it
and shit.
was it the Asian guy?
Yes.
It was Woo. I was right.
Yes.
I don't remember this.
Yeah.
That's a
You
big
don't
thing.
remember
not to
that?
Was I there? Was it my car?
I'm pretty sure you were like the supervisor at that time.
I
It
mean,
might have
I'm
been
just
your
saying,
car.
like, if we were riding together, then I would have been driving
It was
most likely.
It was probably your car, yeah.
I don't remember this.
Because we were all packed in it, and we had to put him in the trunk for two
That
reasons.
sounds
One,
familiar.
we couldn't fit him in the seat, and he was acting so belligerent, we had to put him in the trunk.
Wow.
You really don't remember that,
I
dude?
don't.
I don't.
James, you remember that, right?
Partially. I mean, I don't. I'm gonna be okay. I remember everything up till the trunk part, but if you say that, I'm gonna take your word for it. But
So
yeah, we had to go to like downtown Louisville with like the really scary friggin' places to take him home and shit. At like
crazy.
what 3, 4 in the morning?
well, it would have been like 4 or 5, yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
But no.
But you know,
man.
he would the barbacks and stuff. You know, they would slam drinks if people didn't drink
Yeah.
them.
Yeah,
and
they
he
did do
fucking-
that.
that they did.
He got the wrong drink. He was just like, because we didn't know what was wrong with him, and we determined, okay, this ain't just alcohol. Somebody roofied his ass, you know. And
I
he
don't
was
remember
just,
this.
I mean,
I'm
Oh,
not
wow.
doubting it. A lot of shit happened. To
Yeah, there was a
Porter's,
lot of stuff happened to Porter's.
But damn. That's
I,
crazy.
I remember I remember he came in, like, I think he missed the next day, but he came in the day after, and he didn't remember shit.
That's
He
funny.
didn't even remember the day that
maybe
he
it was
missed.
a Friday. Maybe it was earlier. Like we got off early.
It could be.
Because that would make sense. Cause,
Yeah, because we
if
we
he wasn't there
closed earlier
Saturday,
on the
he would've been there
Fridays.
Sunday for the
Right.
parties.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
So maybe it was a Friday.
All right. Yeah. I mean, I'm not doubting
yeah, that
it,
poor
but,
bastard.
But I don't remember it.
Yeah, we had to like carry him, not like over the shoulder. We had like 3 or 4 people lifting him completely off the ground to get him to the car.
That's really familiar. That's why,
Man.
and I immediately thought it was Woo. So I mean, I would like to think that yes, I remember this.
One of my favorite memories is not it's a Porter's memory, but it's not anything that really involved Porter's that much. It was the middle of winter, and it was when you and I were driving separately. You know what I'm talking about. And we were leaving work. It was
I will never forget your faces.
oh my god. So I had it was me and Hamill in the car. We had just got off work and we were leaving Porter's. James
And me in a
exited
separate car.
first.
Me and my car.
Yeah, James left first.
We
and
were
then-
we were going to the Speedway to get our cigarettes and
Yeah.
stuff
and,
after
like,
work,
dude. So my
Right.
car at the time had really shitty tires.
and everything was completely covered with ice.
Yeah.
Like the roads were horrible.
And like I pulled out of Porter's and I was going, and I lost control of the car. Hadn't been drinking, no problems there. And then
well, no. Let's do this right.
okay,
He was behind me.
I was behind
Okay, he was
him.
behind me, and Dolph was doing his Dolph stuff, and he passed me. He was going like passing me on the complete sheet of ice,
Yeah, to do that.
and then lost control of the car.
Yeah, which resulted in my car spinning.
He did like a 180 and stopped where he was facing my car, but still sliding in that direction.
Yeah, and his car was
And,
coming at us.
Yeah, we were going, and then I lost it. So, but I was still going straight. I still kept it straight, but
Yeah.
I was sliding, and they were facing me, and Ham was like "Arr!" in the car, and Dolph's like.
I mean, yeah, there's not much I can do here. I'm like, oh
and
shit.
then they finally spun the rest of the way back around, and,
Yeah.
and we made it. But
yeah, like we barely missed each other.
somehow he did a 180 and then kept sliding backwards, just facing me while we were both going the same direction.
Awesome.
I do remember
That
because
is-
Hamill actually
that
was
is
screaming
fucking
in the
great.
car, and at one point I went, "Shut up," because I was trying to like gain control, and it didn't work. And it was all kinds of bad.
Do you remember Hamill getting in the high-speed chase?
Oh my god!
Oh, dude, I remember that.
Yeah, and he just like he was going
He
over
was
the story.
freaked out,
yeah,
man.
talk about it.
Oh
You
my
remember.
god! So yeah, Hamill was in a car with a gentleman who apparently all this guy had on him was a bag of weed. But like they were driving, and then I don't know what happened. Like maybe he was speeding or something. But cop got behind him, turned the lights on, was gonna pull him over, and dude was like, "Yeah, I'm not pulling over." And Ham was like, dude, you gotta pull over." But like he didn't, and he just fucking booked. And like this chase went on. Like he ended up leaving Indiana, going into Kentucky over the bridge, going through a bunch of places,
Going
coming,
back to Indiana,
coming
didn't he?
back Indiana over a different bridge.
Middle of the country,
Yeah.
over around New Albany. but-
Yeah.
Didn't the cops actually shoot at the
So
car?
yeah, so eventually
Yeah.
they knew where he was gonna be going, and the cops had set up this big barricade, like a big roadblock with a bunch of cops, and they were like out of their vehicles with their guns and stuff. And
Dude still bashed through it, didn't he?
yeah, like since he
Yeah.
wasn't stopping, the cops decided that's attempted murder. He's trying to hit us, so they opened fire. And the way Hamill tells the story is
He was down on the floorboard just screaming.
As soon
Yeah,
as he
he got
heard the
into the-
gunshots, he dropped to the floor and just started screaming and crying and thought his life was over.
Well, didn't before all that crash and stuff, he was like, "I told him to stop." He was like
Yeah.
yelling out the window.
Yeah,
and-
yeah,
Yeah, he was
And,
trying to yell at the cops to tell them.
Dude, the driver ended up getting shot multiple times. And here's the crazy part. So not only was this just over a bag of weed, because dude didn't want to stop because he had a little bag of weed. Not a big
I
deal.
thought he had stolen the car, though.
No.
It's just a bag of weed. So the crazy part is, dude avoided like pulling over, led the police through this huge high-speed chase, and then, ended up getting shot because he was trying to ram the cops. He ended up, because he got shot multiple times and ended up in the hospital, he ended up getting money like from this, like because he sued, and like he ended up
No
winning.
shit.
Yeah, he got like $100 and something thousand, if I remember correctly.
I didn't know that part.
Yeah, that's what Hamill said.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got
Holy
money because
crap.
like they shot the fuck out of him. Like he almost didn't make it. But like me, going, that's kind of what happens when you're driving a car at like 80 plus miles an hour, and you're not stopping, and you're like heading towards fucking cops that are standing outside. Like they're gonna shoot you, as is their fucking right. But no, he fucking won a lawsuit. Can you hear me?
I could.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I could see Hamill being awarded money if he had been hit because he was a civilian.
If I would have been Hamill, I'd have sued.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Emotional distress.
I would have. Yeah, just fucking emotional trauma, buddy.
That's right.
Yes, absolutely.
Speaking of that,
Now, as
like,
far as the guy, I mean, I kind of agree with you. He's not stopping. He's doing all this shit. Did
Bashed
he have
through
a
a
gun,
barricade.
though?
No, but he bashed through a barricade with cops, almost hit cops. He hit
Yeah.
cop cars.
Right.
Like, He did
So,
some
I mean,
shit.
he did. He put them in mortal danger. He did.
Yeah. And like,
But if anybody should have been awarded, it should have been Hamill.
I agree completely. He was for the
He was-
circumstance.
he was
an
just-
innocent fucking
He didn't know
passenger.
Jack, and he just had to live through it. I mean, that's bullshit.
That made me think of
That is bullshit.
That made me think of another story.
Oh god.
Actually, one of mine.
Let's hear it.
Because Anthony said something about a stolen vehicle.
Yeah.
So, okay,
Let's have it.
I know which one. I
probably.
feel.
So I remember me and two of my buddies were staying over at another buddy's house, and that buddy lived like in the middle of nowhere, like in the middle of the country. And actually, I said that wrong. It was me and one other buddy were staying at this other buddy's house, so there were three of us.
Get it right.
One of our other buddies, who we hadn't seen in like a couple years, showed up out of nowhere with a van. And he was like,
Hold on. Was it a normal size van? Was it a small
"Shut
van?
up! Quit talking about the vans."
Was it a minivan?
Was it an?
It was a
oversized
full-size
van?
van.
All right, fair enough.
It was slightly on the miniature side, but it was a full-size van. Anyway, he showed up with this van, and he's like, and we were like 15 at the time, so, not many of us were 16, had licenses and stuff, so he was
Yeah.
like, "Hey, guys, let's go for a ride." And we were like, "Okay."
Check out my van.
Yeah, kind of. And it was close to around midnight or so at the time, and we were like, "Yeah, let's do that. That sounds fun." And so we got in this van, and we started driving just out in the middle of the country, driving around everywhere. Drove around for about an hour. All of us smoked at the time, but nobody had any kind of cigarettes or anything. So this guy that was driving the van was like, "Hey guys, I'll teach you this one thing that I learned." And we're like, "What?" And he pulled over next to a cornfield, and he went and he grabbed a whole bunch of corn out of the field. And he was like, "Look, you can basically make a cigarette out of this." And he got like the husk and pulled it down, and then got all the silk and put that inside of it and rolled it up.
Shit.
And we were smoking corn. And it wasn't until a little bit that we realized that we were getting fucked up from the pesticides and stuff on the corn.
Oh.
I'm guessing that's
no.
what happened, because we were getting fucked. But it was great. So we were
Hold,
driving.
hold on, before we continue, everyone listening out there, do not smoke corn.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't smoke corn.
Please,
because this
just leave it
podcast is
alone.
not brought to you by Better Health. But either way, we were doing this, and then we got so far into this, like we were driving through the country, we ended up around Hanover, which was still pretty far from where we were.
Yeah.
And we pulled over to get gas, and he said something like, "We got to hurry up, man, because this van's stolen, and I don't want anybody to notice it." And we're like, "What?"
Oh.
And it's like, "What are you
Hang
talking
on.
about?" Yeah, exactly. It was like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "Yeah, man, we can't be here long." And I was like, "We need to leave, like
This is
now."
not the
We
story
better
I thought
hurry
it
up.
was.
And
Yeah.
he was like, "Well, we gotta get gas." And I was like, "Okay." So we pulled over.
We need to leave the fucking van. We don't need gas.
Well, it kind of felt like that. I would have left the van, but I didn't know where the hell I was. I'd never been in Hanover before at that time.
And this is really before cell
Right.
phones. So.
Yeah, and then so we were like that, and so he pulled over, and then he turned off the van and do all that, and we got gas, and then the van refused to start.
Ooh, no.
So we were like, oh, God. And we sat there for probably about 40 minutes, just freaking out, trying to figure out what happened. And then this cop came by,
Oh God.
and he was like, hey, y'all need some help? And it's like, no, we just need to jump. We're waiting. Somebody's on the way. And he was like, are you sure? I could help you now. It's like, no, we got it. It's okay. And so we waited there, and then we were in the middle. Hanover's still kind of country, so we ended up with like this good old boy coming up in his truck. It was like, y'all need some help? And we were like, yeah, we need to jump. And he's like, I got you. And he gave us a jump, and we got going again. And we were like, take us back now. And he was like, okay.
Yeah, no
and
shit.
he started
Fuck
taking
yeah.
us straight back there. But when we got probably about 10 minutes away from there,
Oh no.
maybe 15 minutes away from there, we decided, but before we go back there, we're out of corn. And we need more corn.
God.
We need to get some more
leave
business.
the corn. Leave the corn.
Well, again, all the money that we had went toward the gas, and nobody had any cigarettes, and that was the closest thing to that we had. Plus, it was fun. It was like, yeah.
Fair
So
enough.
we went to
Don't
go get
smoke corn.
So we went out in the middle of the country again to find a cornfield. We found it, and the whole thing was we were going to. He said we do it as quick as possible. So he like stopped, and as soon as he stopped, like we all jumped out of the van, and for some reason, I guess because of the pesticides or something, we thought it'd be a good idea to run through the cornfield as quick as we could.
Oh no.
Which ended up with lots of cuts and busted balls and stuff from the
Yeah.
corn cobs,
Yeah.
which was fun for like a second, and then it was like this was a bad idea, and then we had to figure out how to get back out of the cornfield. So we did that, grabbed the corn, jumped in the van, van died, middle of nowhere.
Yeah. Damn it.
So we made a bunch of corn, and then we were at the top of a hill. So we started pushing this van because we were thinking if we could get it. I don't know why we thought we needed to push it because it wouldn't do anything.
Right.
It's not like we could push it back.
Yeah.
But again, it sounded like a good idea at the time. So I remember we started pushing the van, and like I was behind the van. They were like at the sides pushing, and as soon as we started rolling toward the hill, like they jumped in,
Yeah.
and I was thinking I'd jump on the back and like hang on, and I fell on my face, and that one,
Uh,
and then the van
checks
went
out.
off, and then at the bottom of that hill started going back up,
Right.
and we started trying to push it. And it wasn't that many of a van, so
Oh,
so we could not push it all the way up that hill. We got it about halfway up the hill. Figured out we couldn't push it anymore. So then he got in it, put it in neutral, cut the wheel off, and basically started rolling it back and then jumped out, and we dumped it in the ditch. Out in the middle of nowhere.
Oh, wow.
So then we
crazy.
started walking back to where we initially were, which was about, I'm going to say 2 miles, but it was very close to the Tunnel Mill Boy Scout camp.
Oh, lovely.
Ooh.
So we had to walk all the way down that big hill and then back up the other side. And for people who
Not
don't
to
know
mention
that,
being
let's just say it's
creeped
big.
out.
Let's just say it's big. It's a big
It is.
hill.
It is also very creepy.
It's-
And then that's not all. But okay, but we'll get. I got a little bit more to this.
There's more.
I'm on the edge of my seat here.
There was some more stuff, weird stuff with this.
I'm sure there is.
So we after we dumped the van, we got up and started walking straight, and it was a long flat road before you had to turn left and go toward Tunnel Mill.
Right.
So we're walking down this road, and again, we were like 15, except for the guy who was driving. It's like 16. So we're all like curfew,
Yeah.
and we're out in the middle of nowhere. So every single time we saw headlights, we were all like running and jumping and hiding everywhere because we didn't want to get seen.
Of course.
The very first car that passed us, we all there was a fence to the right. And so we all like ran and climbed over this fence and jumped and laid down on the other side. In the process of me going over this fence, I ripped the whole front of my pants out. Like from the zipper down to my knee.
Oh my god.
And I was freeballing. So all my stuff's just hanging out. And so I was walking at the back of the group, and everybody was just like, well, don't turn around because my shit's just hanging out while we're walking. And it probably, I hate to admit this, but it probably took me an hour into that walk to realize I had an overshirt on. And I eventually, when I did figure that out, I tied it around my waist and
That's
hanging in the
hilarious.
front to where, you know, it wouldn't be all just flopping in the breeze. But it was for a good portion of that walk. And we had to, like I said, we kept diving out from every set of headlights we'd see every time. We got to the top of that hill. And one of the guys was like, man, I wish we had a cigarette. God, you know, we didn't have much corn. And it wasn't doing it quite as well. It helped a little bit, but it wasn't doing quite as well.
We're running out of corn, man.
It's funny.
It is
Eat
hilarious.
some more corn, man.
And so
Gotta have that corn.
we got to the top of the hill, like I
Need that
said, and we were,
corn.
man, I wish we had a cigarette. It's like that would just make everything better. It wouldn't be that bad. I mean, this whole night's been bad, but it'd be better if we just had that. And right at the top of the fucking hill, getting ready to go down Tunnel Mill, we looked down, and there was like this
No.
big stuffed animal in the middle of the road for some reason.
Oh, good Lord.
A blanket that was completely soaked, and half a pack of Reds
Yeah.
just sitting there in the middle of the road.
Nice.
It was nice.
I bet it was.
It was very nice. Because, like, we each had one, and then we were, like, splitting the rest of them the rest of the way home, you know, to try to make them last. But they were there. It was weird.
That's also extremely creepy, though, given where you were.
Yeah, no shit. But,
Yeah.
but I mean, I was more creeped out about the big stuffed animal and the soaking wet blanket, because nothing was wet
Right, and-
anywhere, but that blanket was just soaking wet. Didn't
That's-
smell like anything.
And for those out there listening who don't know, that Tunnel Mill area is extremely haunted,
Yeah.
like bad.
All
yeah.
kinds of
So
creepy
to
shit.
find a stuffed animal, or you know,
A wet
1
blanket.
o'clock in the morning, whatever, and a wet blanket, and then something that you actually are wanting
Needing, yeah.
Yeah, it was
is not
creepy
a
as
good
shit.
thing
That
to
is-
find out there.
But it
That's
was
pretty-
creepy as
that's
shit.
pretty
But I mean,
messed up.
I remember it vividly. I mean, because like that. Oh. Anyway, point is,
Yeah. Wow.
we walked down, did all that, got to the other side. I remember we turned on a road that was going to lead us back toward the other guy's house once we got on the other side of the camp. And we got so far onto that, and we were on this bridge that was over a creek. It was probably like a 15-foot drop down
Is
to
that,
the creek.
Is that 100 Penny Bridge?
No, not that one.
Okay.
Seven penny.
7 Penny.
Not that one. Not that one.
7 penny.
Different one, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But anyway, we were on this little bridge
And I
that
think-
went over a creek, and we saw lights. So we were like, "Oh God!" And most of us took off running
Good thing
straight.
It wasn't 7 penny.
Took off running straight to get past the bridge so we could get into the woods on the other side. One of the guys just jumped off the bridge into the water, into the creek.
Damn.
The other, like I said, we all took off running. Besides him, we all took off running straight. And I'll admit this was me being an asshole. I'll say this ahead of time. We were running, and the guy that was in front, he tripped when he was going off of the road. And I noticed what he tripped on. There was one strand of barbed wire about a foot high.
Oh, shit.
And he had tripped over it, but he was okay. The guy in front of me, he wasn't going fast enough. So I pushed him, and he ended up like and getting all tangled up in it, and I like dove over him,
That's mean as fuck.
Damn.
and we ended up, you know, all hiding. That guy went on by. We made it back to the house, and we were like, "You motherfucker, don't ever pick us up in no stolen fucking vehicle again." And he was like, "Yeah, I'm sorry, guys." And then right about then he went, "Oh fuck," and we were like, "What?" And he was like, "I left my wallet and shit back in that van."
Oh, buddy, you're going by yours. That's a solo mission.
So the next morning,
Yeah,
next morning,
we ain't that close.
the next morning, we had the guy who's we were staying the night with. We had his dad was going to take us back to town, and he rode with him. And he was like, "Hey, my van broke down last night. My mom has got a tow truck on the way to go get it, but I left my stuff in it. Can you drop me by there so I can get my stuff?" And the dad dropped him by, and he jumped in there, grabbed all of his shit out of it real quick, and then we went back to town. And that was the last I
bastard.
heard about that van. I didn't see that guy for about another 6-7 years after that.
Okay.
So that was
Wow.
my stolen vehicle story.
I have never heard that story. That's not the story I thought you were going to tell whenever you started.
That was a great story.
That was fantastic. How have I never heard that? I thought you were going to tell the cop car story.
No. Well, here we can bleep. I'll just go ahead and say this. Okay, I was staying at his house. The friend that was with us, besides because he was there, was, and the guy that picked us up in the van was.
That checks
I
out.
remember him.
That checks out
Yeah.
completely. Yeah. Okay.
That totally makes sense.
Fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
That is fantastic. I've never stolen a car.
I've never stolen a car either.
I've
probably been
never
in stolen cars.
I
but
have never
I've
stolen
never
one
stolen
myself.
Yeah. You know. Wow.
I've been in a lot of shady situations, so the probability of me being in a stolen car is very high.
You know
But
what?
I've never.
That's
known
the only
about it.
time I know for a fact I have been.
I think the saddest part is that where I should be more concerned with like the fact that you were in a stolen vehicle riding around, it was dying, like you guys could have got caught. I'm more focused on the fact that you were smoking corn. I've never heard of anybody smoking corn before. Don't smoke corn.
Yeah, I
Don't
wouldn't.
smoke corn.
I wouldn't recommend it.
Shit, man.
I've got a story. It doesn't have to do with stolen cars, but it has to do with like woodsy type stuff.
Okay.
So, my family, we used to get donations. Like, we were friends with another family, and they had this bakery type deal, and they would have a lot of the Emerson brand cakes and donuts and donut holes and all that kind of stuff. And they'd come by our house, and they would just give us the shit because it was about to expire. But, you know, that stuff's good for fucking weeks, right?
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Still sealed up. So we would give it away to other people too. We have mountains of this shit, right? Well, some buddies of mine, we would go to the Henryville Forestry,
Ah.
you know, occasionally. Yeah, you know,
Fun place.
and you know, have fires and drinks, smoke, play guitar, and all that. So we decided one night, hey, let's go to the Forestry, man. You got the munchies. They're like, you got the munchies, man. You got all them cakes and donuts. Let's grab some shit. I'm like, yeah, fuck it, come on. So we loaded up cakes and donut holes and all that. And we jumped in my buddy's car, which was I'm pretty sure it was his car. It was like a 77 Cutlass, I think. Big old monster of a car.
Was it a Cutlass
You know what I'm talking
Supreme?
about, James. You know what I'm talking about.
Supreme.
Was a Cutlass Supreme?
And a chicken supreme.
And a burrito Supreme.
We used to put roaches in the dome light because it didn't work for a long time. We would just go out there and sit in the driveway and smoke.
Okay.
Anyway, so we all pile in this car and we go out there and having a fire, and it's getting late. We're stoned, you know, and they have this overpass out there in
Yeah,
the forestry. It connects from one to another, and then you got the whole interstate there.
Yes,
and I
sir.
think that was 65, wasn't it?
Yep.
Sounds right.
It goes right over.
It goes over 65. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was a nice little trek from where we were at to go to that overpass. You know, and there was 4 or 5 of us there, and we're stoned, so we're like carrying the donuts and shit with us. So we're going walking in the dark, wandering around and shit. And we get to that overpass, and smoking some more, watching these cars go by, and then my buddy, he's like, "Hey man, watch this," and he opens up a box of donut holes, and he starts chucking them at cars as they're going by down I-65 at
Oh,
70,
no.
75, 80 miles per hour.
Well, you know what? There are worse things that you could hit a car with than a donut hole.
I suppose that's
Yeah, well, wait. So, so these boxes, you know, you've seen the big boxes of donut holes. There's a bunch of them in there,
Thank you.
and we had like 3 or 4 boxes.
Thank you
just
for
carried
these
over
nuts.
there.
This episode was not brought to you by these nuts.
In no way was it brought to you by these nuts. Oh, anyway, we do that, and we're like, "Oh, this is fun." So everybody's grabbing donut holes and just chucking them at random cars and stuff. And my buddy's like, he always has to take things one up. So he stands up and he gets up on the rail. And we're like, dude, what are you doing? And he unzips his pants and starts pissing on cars as they're going by.
Okay.
And I don't know if he did it then or another time, but he also had to sit on the rail and took a shit. But that wasn't the thing, okay? The thing was there was a whole cake about like this, okay? A big fucking brick of a cake. And he was like, huh, check this out. And he scoops it out, just chucks this big, it's like probably 3 or 4 pound cake. Hits a semi, smash, just like that. That fucking semi hit his brakes, dude. And stopped and got out. And started running up the embankment.
Oh,
at
God.
us. And we went, ah, and fucking booked it. I mean, we were drunk, we were stoned, we were fucking full of donuts, not moving very well. It was dark. We were running through the woods. We all split. Bloop, didn't see each other. We're like, make your way back to the site. And then everybody just pop, gone. Diving through the fucking, woods and vines and getting scratched up and dirty and not know where I'm going. I didn't see anybody. I didn't hear shit. But as I'm making my way back, I look over and I see cop lights.
Oh.
Like, at least 2 cop cars flashing in the distance, and I was like, and I froze. I was like, I should not go back to the site. I don't know what to do. I can't stay here. If they find me, they know that I'm fucking part of it. I'm doing that whole paranoid thing. So I waited about 30 or 45 minutes in the dark, in the muck, in the fucking woods. Terrified. I don't know what to do. I got weed on me and shit. I'm like, oh, what do I do? Do I smoke it? Do I throw it? Do I just wait? I'm not
All
sure.
of the above.
I don't have any more. If I get rid of it, I'm fucked that way too. So I wanted a cigarette so bad I couldn't smoke. Oh, they'll see my cherry. So I eventually made my way back like an hour later. And I think there was like 2 people there. And I showed up. And I'm like, well, where's so-and-so? They ain't back yet. I think the cops got him. I think the drunker got him, and all this shit. And we were like, well, what do we do? And I'm like, we need to get the fuck out of here. But we wound up waiting a little bit longer, and they showed up. And then the cops, actually, after everybody was there, the cops drove by us at our site. And they asked, hey, y'all know? No. We had lost the boxes, dude. They were gone.
Good.
Every bit
Right.
of donut, everything. We fucking threw it in the fire. Just burnt it all. Stuffed everything in our mouths. Burned the fucking cardboard, You ain't got shit, man. Don't know nothing. They said there's a bunch of kids up there. I'm like, must have been different kids. Don't know. And they drove by and we're like, we gotta go. And we fucking whoop. So that was pretty intense.
Stuff that made me think of another thing.
I gotta hear it. What is it?
It was during the 2nd annual campout.
Ah, the campouts.
Oh, we had this annual campout and it was just once a year. We'd have one weekend at a state park type place, and most of the time we'd end up with way too many people there, because they say you're only supposed to have so many tents on a spot, stuff like that. Sometimes we'd get more than one spot. We'd just, either way, we'd have like 30 people or so, and we would just party all weekend and like party hard. And they were good times. They were great times. But I remember during the second one, after the first night, that first night, I remember
Was this the night with the torches?
that was that same night, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
That was just, we had to
I
talk
remember
two
this.
of our people. They thought it would be a good idea to go walking through the woods with a torch. So they had got.
But didn't they actually wrap their shirts around?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. They wrap the shirt.
And lit them on fire.
Wrapped the shirt around a stick, laid it on fire, and decided to go walking through the woods at midnight.
That's a beautiful idea.
Holding them really high up in the air for all the fucking tree limbs and shit. You know,
I was more worried about DNR than I was the trees, but yeah. But
right.
But either way, the thing is, during that second camp out, only one person there was 21. Do you remember who I'm talking about?
Was it a female?
No. Okay. It was Gay Joe.
That's what I was thinking. I wasn't there, but
Oh, was he there?
He was during the second one. It was Gay Joe. And
Oh,
the
okay.
reason we say that is because we had a bunch of Joes, and he in fact was gay, so he just became Gay Joe.
Yeah.
He knew that. He was
liked
okay
it.
with it.
He's,
fine.
it does not offend him at all whatsoever. Anyway,
So anyway, Gay Joe was the only one that was over 21 there. And I remember that night was also the night that I'm going to say won, but in the long run did not win the vodka chugging contest that we had.
oh, I remember that. Ooh.
I won it, but I regretted it.
Yeah,
That was me flying off the cooler backwards and just puking everywhere.
He got pretty awful.
But I remember I woke up that next morning, and when I woke up, my head was out of the tent, just like laying in this mud that was made from puke.
I've heard this.
And I remember pulling my head back in, and my now ex-wife, or girlfriend at the time, was helping me clean up my face and everything. And we were in there, and all of a sudden, we heard the DNR pull up. Now, the thing was that a couple of the people had already been starting to clean up everything. They had already got most of the bottles, because we went through cases that night. And they had already got most of that, and they'd put it in bags. And the DNR came up, and at first they were complaining because of how many people were there and how many tents were on the spot. And they were telling us we couldn't do that. While they were telling us this, two of those people were carrying one of this big black trash bag full of bottles toward the dumpster. And that bag ripped.
Oh no!
And all those bottles came flying out. And they looked over at it, because I was looking at through a little bitty crack in the window on the tent going, oh shit. The DNR looked around and they went, so, how many of you were 21? And Gay Joe was sitting there and said, me. And they were like, just you? And he said, yes, sir. And they were like, so you're trying to tell me that all of those bottles are yours and that these minors aren't drinking? And he was like, sir, I'm an alcoholic. And they were
That is also true.
that was actually
Yeah,
true,
it's-
but he was like,
that's
sir,
true.
I'm an alcoholic.
It was true.
And then they were just like, get these extra tents out of here. And they left, and I was like, oh my God.
That's so funny. I'm an alcoholic. Sounds about right.
He did not lie.
No, he
I'm
didn't.
21. I'm an alcoholic. Those were facts
Those
at
are
that
facts.
time.
Man. I
Yeah,
just,
he. That's
I remember.
Great.
I remember the only one of those campouts that I went to. I don't know what number it was, but your ex-wife / your girlfriend at the time, it was the campout that was done on her property. Do you remember that?
I think that was number 3.
That was 3. Okay.
Well, I think we had 2 there actually, but I think that was number 3.
It was the first time it happened there.
When I got pissed on?
Coffee.
I don't remember you getting pissed on. but
Oh, I could
that's
tell
funny.
that too. I don't care.
But no, I remember.
Mr. Anthony's talking.
Raise your mic up a little bit. Raise your mic up a little bit.
Is that better?
There you go.
Wait a minute. Talk again, Dolphy.
Hello.
Okay.
All right. So
Yeah, there you go.
So yeah, I remember it was my first time going to one of these campouts. I hadn't been introduced to alcohol much before that, but I got to the point where I knew my limits.
You're right.
But it was also not just my first time going, but it was Hamill's first time going,
Mm.
and he had been told. I remember that he couldn't drink. And I remember.
Didn't y'all like sneak a bottle in a tin or something?
we didn't. No, I didn't.
Oh,
No, I was following the rules.
Maybe it was him.
I was able to
maybe it
drink.
was him. He snuck a bottle in the tent.
Yes. No, I don't. So that's what I was getting at. Like we had a great time.
Wasn't it vodka?
And no, he had like, so like at one point somebody was looking for the Smirnoffs and couldn't find them, and like he had taken like 2 cases of Smirnoffs and they were in his tent.
That's right.
Because we were like, "Where's Hamill?"
Ah.
Like, because we hadn't seen Hamill in a long time, and he was in there with the fucking Smirnoffs. He had like 2 cases of them, and he had just been going to town. And then I remember like someone was like, "Fuck it, man! You've already drank. You can drink." And like I remember like someone handing him a half gallon of Beam, and we were like trying to explain chasing and everything, and he was like, "I just don't need a chaser," and he just like tipped it and like fucking like chugged so much, and then everybody was so pissed because we had to be on people had to be on Hamill duty,
I remember that. I remember Hamill duty.
fucking Hamill duty.
But what I remember most about that was, maybe it was the second night then. It was one of those nights. Either way, I remember being there, and I got tired because and it wasn't just that I was like drunk, like gonna pass out first. It was that I had spent all day trying to make sure that campsite was good because I had to go clear out the woods. I had to like go out there with a chainsaw, do a couple trees and the weed eater and all types of stuff and make that campsite for us. And I was tired. So by the time, we were drinking and everything and I got pretty good and buzzed, I was like, I'm tired. I'm just going to lay down in my tent and I'm going to go sleep. But I was the first one that did that. And so everybody was like, oh, what are we going to do to James? He went to sleep. And while they were trying to figure out what to do, the buddy who lived in the middle of nowhere, who we went back to the house in that previous story, he just apparently got up from the circle around the fire, walked over to my tent, unzipped it, and pissed on me. Now, I was asleep, so I had no idea about this. And they were like, dude, what are you doing? Don't fucking do that. Stop. And they were like trying, but then they started laughing. And then, he came back and sat down at the fire and everybody went on. Apparently, like an hour later, he got up and did it again. And again, nobody actually stopped him from this. So I woke up the next morning and I was like, man, I'm like, it's awful sweaty. I figured I'm awful sweaty because it stunk pretty bad. And I was like a little, crusty wet, like you are. And I remember looking over and there was a puddle in the corner of my tent and my flip-flop was kind of like almost floating in it. And I thought my dog had come in there and peed. So I was mad at him. I was like, bad Pokey. And then I came out and sat down next to everybody and everybody kind of scooted away from me. And I was like, what the hell, guys? And then everybody, like, nobody was talking to me very well. And if they did, they'd start laughing and then they'd just try to button it up real quick. And then everybody started smoking. And I was like, here, pass it to me. And they wouldn't pass it to me. And I was like, what the hell? What's going on? And then they
Don't pass it to the pissy guy.
And then they finally told me. And I realized that guy that did this, he had disappeared. Like, as soon as it started getting light outside, he went. Because he knew.
Bolted.
Well, that was the smart thing for him to do. And then
Right.
and then he avoided me. Like, he wouldn't talk to me, avoided all my calls, everything for like the next 3 to 4 months, something like that. And then finally I remember I was having a rough time. And he somehow I remember I was having a pretty rough time and I went, I'm going to go there. Cuz that place was always the good place. It was a place to calm down. Like, my house was where everybody went, and if they didn't go there, they went there.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I'm going to go there. It'll get me away from everybody at my house. It'll calm down. Everything will be good. And I showed up, and he was like, ah! And I was just like, it's okay, man. It's okay. It's no problem. I'm not pissed anymore. It's good. And he was like, are you sure, man? He was like, is there anything I can do for you? And I was like, well, man, I'm having a pretty rough time right now. I mean, you got money? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, well, like, loan me some money. That'll make everything. I'll feel better then. I'll have money. Money's good. And he was like, here, yeah, what do you need? And he was like, I think he like offered 40. and I ended up talking him into giving me like 75.
Hell yeah.
And he gave me that money, and he was like, "Yeah, so when do you give it back?" And I went, "I'm not. You pissed on me. This is mine. Do you have a problem with that?" And he said, No, it's all good. And I said, "Good." And then I left.
I'm not. You pissed on me. Oh, man. That's great. That's fair.
That's awesome.
That's fair.
Well done. Well played, James.
Yeah.
Well,
Welcome back
All right.
welcome back.
to Rigmarole.
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 I had a hiccup.
Pick 'em a roll. Okay, so
It turns out that almost every time I tell one of these big long stories, most of the time Dolph doesn't know them.
it does seem that way, yeah.
Well, to be fair,
I guess you weren't really hanging out with us back then.
yeah, I didn't start coming around until I was 16.
I remember Dolphy. I don't really remember him on Ridge, but Lafayette. He would come in. I never understood it. I was like, I knew who he was because I knew Dolph and Joe when I was like 9.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And me and Joe were really cool back then, but Dolph was a motherfucking little bastard shithead.
We have established this.
This is not. This is
Yeah,
not
and he was
false
annoying
information.
as hell. He was mean. He was fucking violent. He was run his mouth like a son of a bitch and then run away and throw rocks at you kind of kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
Or
tell you
beat you
what.
with a racket.
Yeah.
Oh, the good old days.
Yeah. So, but anyway, I remember at Lafayette, he would walk in the door. The whole room would be full. Sometimes there would even be a place to sit. But no matter what, he would walk in the door and close the door and just slide down and sit in front of the front door.
Well, at
And he'd be
Ridge.
there.
Go ahead.
Well, he'd be there for like sometimes 10 minutes, an hour, 30 minutes, and then he'd just stand up and walk back out the door and would never even say a word.
Well, I was going to
Well,
say,
he might
at
say-
Ridge,
He
you
might
said,
walk in and say hello, and then just boom, right in the floor.
well, that's what I'm saying. You said at Ridge you don't really remember him, but that was because when he showed up at Ridge, like we said, but he would literally just walk in the door, sit down on the couch, smoke cigarettes, and then eventually, and he wouldn't even say hi most of the time. If anything, you'd get a,
He wouldn't.
and then
Exactly.
he would get up and leave after like an hour and a half or so.
Yeah.
Just sit there and not say one word.
I have a question for both of you. When I left, did people like think I was weird or creepy?
It was mostly just a, what the fuck's wrong with that guy?
Yeah, pretty much. It was like, why does he come in and just do nothing and then leave?
Okay,
But you weren't annoying, so it was okay.
that's good.
Right. You didn't bother anybody. It was just weird.
Well, Anthony told me to talk one day. I did,
I did.
and I did. I don't remember what I said, but you told me to say something.
Well, I got tired of you coming in and doing nothing. I was like, dude, say something. Just talk. Fucking talk. And he talked. I don't know what you said either.
I don't remember.
So I like to sit.
No, I think
I'm
he
a gay
said something
fish.
like, I think he said something along the lines of, hi. And that, I mean, it was very short, whatever it was.
He gets that a lot.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, you got to say more than that.
No, I mean, eventually, I opened up. Like I said, for the most part, a lot of it had to do with shyness, and some of it was, I don't know. It was just, I was entertained. You guys were like a TV show.
I've said that for years that I thought that it would make a good TV show.
I would walk over.
I could see that.
I would come in, and I would sit down, and I would just watch and observe and listen, and like just be fucking so entertained. And so, this is like,
You never knew what was going to happen.
you really didn't.
It's like, find
That's-
out next
that's
week
very
on.
fair.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
See, because I mean, you never know who was gonna actually be there,
Yeah.
and everybody had their own quirks and things that they would do or bring.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
even if said people did show up, you didn't know what they were gonna have with them, or what sort of plan they were gonna make. You know.
Yeah,
and-
that's true.
I remember when
And
Anthony
one of-
first started coming over, like when he first started coming over, like constantly, it was like play guitar back in the room with me, or we would be out in the living room playing Tekken 2 or Road Rash 3D.
I remember Road Rash. That was
yeah.
a fun game.
That's a great game.
And
Yeah.
we'd be stoned as hell. I actually lived directly across the street from James.
Yeah, it was like straight across
Ridge.
and one to the right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So okay, so I was adjacent, but still,
James.
our duplexes
Jamesons?
were
Jamesons.
almost directly across from each other.
Yeah, I remember
So
that.
I just
that's
go
how,
over there.
I remember that's how I got.
I remember
That's how I got in
going
the
over-
band.
Yeah,
I remember.
'cause
Yeah,
I knew he played. I know he played bass.
I was
like,
sitting
wait,
out.
know
I was
a
sitting
bass
out in the
player.
front yard. I'd put an extension cord out and had my amp out in the front yard, and I was sitting there playing. And your brother walked over and said, "Oh, so you play bass?
Yeah,
We need a bass."
he was
player."
very excited.
I remember,
I remember.
Mom gave me shit for that for years because when we did that one radio interview, they were like, "How'd you get involved with the band?" I was like, "Oh, I was just playing out in the front yard, and they came over and asked me if I wanted to, and I didn't have anything better to do, so I said okay." And she gave me shit for that. No, I didn't have anything better to do. But I mean, I didn't know what to answer to that. They were like, "You want to play
I mean,
music?"
you
I was
were
like,
honest.
"Fuck yeah, fuck yeah, America, fuck yeah."
That's good stuff.
Lick my butt and suck on my balls.
Whoa.
America.
It's too far, Anthony.
What is it?
It's too far.
Sorry.
McDonald's,
Too far.
fuck yeah.
It's just,
We shouldn't do all
I'm
that.
just
joking.
lyrics.
I'm joking.
Just
about it.
lyrics.
I'm joking.
I'm singing.
We've said like way worse shit so far.
That was good.
It's fine.
It was good.
It was good.
Oh,
Ah.
we got like I said, we got to play a little bit of music yesterday. Didn't do a whole lot. Picked around. We
It
should
was
we
still
should have
fun.
actually played a song.
Well,
We said we were
tried.
going. We started to, I think, but then we kept getting it just distracted in conversation.
Distracted in conversation.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Fair enough.
It was good though.
Yeah.
He likes Kingdom though.
Yeah, no, you told me. You also told me that you guys are gonna like do the parody version.
That with the foot
Ti-
extenders.
tiny feet.
Dude, it's funny.
I love it.
I told
Fucking
him we
love
could
it.
record it. It's fine. I got everything here to do it with.
Yeah. That's fantastic.
Well, I made him listen through the first verse of the actual song, and then I played him me doing it. And
Yeah.
he was just laughing.
Oh, it's good.
Hilarious. It was hilarious.
Cody Rhodes.
Very clever.
Yeah. Oh man.
Oh.
Good times, man.
So if we get, I know we talked about this previously, but if you are involved in our overdubbing project that we were
For
talking
the
about,
MCU, yeah.
do you have any particular character that you know pulls out to you, that calls out to you, that goes, that's who I want to be?
Are you doing the entire
We plan on it.
Yeah.
MC? Oh my god.
Well, we're not talking about necessarily not like the Fox movies, just like
No,
the
no.
actual MCU.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Like from Iron Man to Endgame.
At least.
Yeah.
Maybe Thor or Loki.
I think you'd be a good Thor.
I do too. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Stuff.
I
that
mean, he's
like
funny
my
anyway.
That's fantastic.
nuts.
Oh, dude.
Oh man. Who would you want to be?
I want Hulk.
Oh man. Yeah.
I want Hulk at least.
Hulk would be
Of
funny.
course you do.
Well, just because I can do my Goro bit with the Hulk, and I think it'd be funny.
I'd like to be Quill.
That's That's fair. Then I could probably do Drax, I imagine.
Yes. We should make Drax incredibly smart.
I could be Rocket.
I was thinking that, but
Yeah.
then at the same time, I thought about you being Groot, just being like, "I'm a fucking tree," and that's all you say the whole time. Instead of "I'm Groot,"
I could
just,
do
"I'm a
it.
fucking tree."
I would.
And
I
then
would
nobody
totally do it.
understands what he's saying. So why do you always say that? We know you're a fucking tree. Say something else.
I'm a fucking tree.
I'm a bush. I'm a shrub.
What?
Could
I'm
be
a fucking
different.
tree.
It could be different sometimes. I'm a tree. I'm a leaf.
That's wonderful.
I like it.
Yeah. That's funny. That's good
Okay.
stuff.
We're
It could
getting
be.
somewhere.
Yeah, we're pre-planning.
That's a lot of movies, though.
It really
My
is.
I like
But
it.
it would keep us busy.
Oh. Oh, God. Well, it's just, you got to think about it. Each one, because each of those movies, are like origin stories and they focus on each of the people to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
That means each of us is going to have to take at least a main role in some of those movies.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Well,
Absolutely. That's
Oh,
okay.
God, can you once we bring it together, though,
oh
that's,
my God.
oh. God.
A lot of
that's-
work, but it'll be funny.
Yeah. It would be
It'll
great.
be funny.
Dormammu, your place looks fucking weird.
I don't have any arms.
God, Multiverse of Madness is going to be fun.
Oh my God. Yeah.
That's Doctor Strange, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw it. I saw it once. Okay.
Well, that's got some shit in there.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it
Gosh.
does.
Yeah. It does.
It does.
It does,
It
yeah.
does.
Okay,
Are you gonna do this? Any of the series stuff as well?
Ooh,
maybe.
possibly.
If so, I want Moon Knight.
That's
I
fair.
liked that show.
I loved it.
It was good,
I was
It was
so
good.
happy when Moon Knight came. I like Moon Knight.
Oh,
dude. When I
Anthony.
was a kid, I thought Moon Knight was just the shit.
I got a
What?
question.
Yeah.
I got a question for you, Anthony. How do you
All right.
how do you feel about Doctor Doom?
Doctor Doom.
Well, here's a question. How much do you actually know about Doctor Doom?
Is you talking about the Fantastic Four?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, that's that Doctor Doom.
I don't know a whole lot about him.
You should.
Yeah, I agree.
I was. It turns out neither Dolph
I
nor
know he's like awful.
no,
not
No,
really.
He's not.
Neither Dolph nor
No?
Vince knew a lot about Doctor Doom, and I was trying to tell him that they need to, because Doctor Doom is an amazing character.
He really is. And after learning as much as I've learned about him, he's not a villain in my opinion. Not a villain at all. He, at the worst, he's an anti-hero.
Well,
in my opinion.
well, you know how like after Endgame, everybody was doing that whole Thanos was right stuff.
Right.
Well, there's a lot of people, and I think I'm one of them, that completely believe that Doom is mostly always in the right.
Yeah, I agree with it. Just
It's
leave him
so-
alone and let him make the world a better place.
I mean, don't get me wrong. This is going to sound bad. He kind of is a little bit of a dictator when it comes to stuff.
I think we need that sometimes.
But in the weird way, it is always for a better purpose. And every time he has actually succeeded in what he's doing, he has made the world better. Every time.
Okay.
And he's got a really good origin story. It's
Yeah, he
interesting as
does.
hell.
Yeah. He's smart as fuck, and he's fucking way more powerful than I originally thought.
Well, that's another reason why I'm waiting for that Avengers Doomsday movie, because I want to
Yeah,
see if
it's
they
gonna be
really
good.
if they do it justice.
I hope they do.
And I think he can do it.
Oh yeah, fuck yeah.
I think he really
No,
can
I
do it.
think they got a good actor for it, for sure.
Who's playing him?
Do you not know this?
I don't. Hang on
Oh.
a second.
It's
Okay, well, we got to hold on a second.
I don't want to hold.
He
on.
said, "Hold on a
I
second."
don't want to hold.
I
on.
heard it.
He did say it, but I don't want to. I don't want to.
What's going on here? Hello.
Hello.
Something is up. with
What be
my
the
headphones.
problem?
There be a problem.
You there?
A problem
Yeah,
there be.
I have an echo now, and I did not before.
We do not hear an echo.
We don't hear an echo.
Okay, well, that's fine. Fuck it then.
All right.
Okay. Now have an open mind on this, because I have a feeling your initial response might not be. You might be confused at least.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
It's fine. Go ahead.
It's Mr. RDJ.
Who?
Robert Downey Jr.
Oh, I hate it when they do that shit. When they cast somebody for multiple characters throughout that universe, dude,
that's the
that
reaction I
aggravates
was
the
expecting.
piss out
Me
of
too. That's what I was expecting.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's fine, you know, if he does a good job, but
He will.
fucking come on,
He will.
you
He'll do a
know.
great job.
Well,
but here's the thing. so-
For that movie, they brought back the Russos, and they do not make bad. They make the best Marvel movies.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be
Oh.
fantastic.
And I don't think with the way they've been talking, I don't think it's going to be like a variant of Tony Stark. I think it actually straight up
Is Victor?
Yeah, because they said Victor Von Doom.
Yeah.
There was no Tony Stark involved.
No, it's not gonna be a variant, and I'm fine with it. I'm absolutely fine with it. You having some technical difficulties over there, Anthony?
Something told me power off, and then I got this big echo, and I
Technical
don't know what the
difficulties.
hell it would have been.
On Anthony's side,
That are technical.
they are technical.
Are they technical? Ooh. Apparently, I can increase the bass on the damn.
Damn.
That is super heavy.
Damn.
bass. Wow,
So how's
dude,
it-
these
My
headphones.
name,
are
is Nelson.
fucking
Damn.
awesome.
Damn.
So
Big
this
Nelly belly.
this episode is not brought to you by Skull Candy Earwear.
That's true.
Um,
It's not.
You know,
but
we could make a
they're
pretty big list of
badass.
things that this episode is not sponsored by.
That's
It would be
also true.
it would be a lot bigger list than things that it is sponsored by.
Yeah. Oh yeah, just by
And
couple.
it's definitely not brought to you by Audio Technica microphones.
Yeah. What brand are these ones?
You know,
I don't remember.
I'm just curious. I'm not gonna say what it is, but I really was curious. I know now.
anyway.
So you're not happy about that?
Robert Downey. Well, no, I don't mind him. He's a great actor, and
He
he's
is.
probably going to do a great job.
I think he's gonna
probably
kill it.
It
will.
was just the fact that it's going to be hard
It's
for you to associate him with someone else when you're so used to seeing him as Iron Man.
No, it's not that. It's like they recycle actors. Like it makes me feel like they lack originality or imagination.
But this is the thing. I can understand that concept with a lot
this
of
is
other
like
things,
the third
but
or
as far
fourth
as
person now. You know what I mean?
that's his second.
You sure? There's
Yeah.
not a
100%.
That's what I was going to say. I mean, as far as the actual MCU goes, I mean, they've replaced an actor a few times,
Yep.
like Edward Norton for
Yep.
Mark Ruffalo,
And the guy that played Brody,
for Don Cheadle.
Rhodey. I'm sorry. Yeah.
So they've replaced a few people, but they've never just brought back somebody who was somebody else and made them somebody completely different.
No.
Except for Stan Lee, you know. I mean, he's someone different every time. But if they did that now, it would be very strange.
Yeah. Who are you remembering Robert Downey Jr. Being also?
Microphone.
Iron Man.
What?
Microphone.
What about the microphone?
Don't talk over here.
Oh, my bad. I was petting my dog.
Oh, he was Iron Man. But no, I'm referring to, you know, the Torch and Captain America.
The Fantastic Four movie that you're referring to was not MCU.
Yeah, that was straight up Fox stuff.
Yeah.
That has no continuity in the MCU.
I get what you're saying, though.
It doesn't matter to me.
You're like, Marvel is Marvel.
Okay.
I get it.
Right. And that just irritates me.
I liked it.
He still did a great job, but
Were you
Damn it.
surprised?
Surprised of what?
With the Human
The-
Torch thing?
Yeah, in the movie
Like,
that you watched.
I was, dude. I
was
totally
too.
thought it was some Captain America.
all the way until
at
the
first.
flame on.
Yeah.
And then I lost my shit. I was like, yeah.
Oh, but that's bad, dude.
But yeah,
They're
you said it
using
was
people
bad.
for
You
all that
couldn't stand
stuff.
For that movie, it was fucking
Oh,
funny.
there's
Oh.
exceptions. Okay.
Not
No,
inceptions.
no, there's nothing. There's nothing I can do about it.
Not
so
inceptions.
that part was enjoyable.
Exceptions. It's for X-Men and stuff. It's
And they
exceptions.
did at least explain it as he got tossed out like garbage, so
Yes.
that made me feel better about it. You know?
So you didn't watch the extended credits, right?
I think he said he did.
Did you?
I didn't read the credits.
Oh,
I
gotcha.
I skipped
Okay.
to whatever was left.
So
Yeah,
that
I
was
watched
great.
all
Saw the-
that.
You saw that he actually really did say all that shit?
Yes. Yeah, that was awesome.
It's like,
He's like,
damn
"There,
girl.
now you all got it.
That was wonderful.
I have to watch it again. I have to.
Yeah, I
'Cause
gotta,
I know
I
I
gotta watch a
missed
better quality
things.
of it.
Well, you're
Supposed to
welcome.
watch that. Thank you so much. Yes. Gotta watch Beetlejuice today.
Haven't seen that yet either. Still.
I'm
My
gonna-
wife fell asleep, so I wasn't gonna watch it without her.
I will tell you ahead of time, and this isn't any kind of thing like that. If you're not enjoying yourself, just wait. I personally think that the at least the back half of that movie is a lot better than the front half.
Isn't
That's
that,
fair.
Isn't that most things?
Well, I mean, at the back.
Yeah, that's one. All right.
Why is it echoing so much?
I'm trying to.
I see ears.
You know, you guys have told some stories.
Yeah,
I'm trying
we've told stories.
I'm trying to think of a really good one. I'm trying to think of one that y'all don't know, but I don't think I have any that y'all don't know.
I remember
Oh shit.
me and you and another buddy used to walk around Jeffersonville late at night while we were drinking.
Oh, you're an asshole.
We used to do that just for fun.
I know what you're going for.
And
I
we
know
had
what
we
you're
had walked
getting at.
across the street.
Was it about the signs?
We had walked across. No, we talked about
No.
that, but no, we had walked across. We had walked across the street from the apartment complex to the Chevron,
Yeah.
and
I knew this is where we were going.
Dolph was like, "Hey, can I have a cigarette?" And we're like, "If you walk through that car wash," and we like turned on the car wash,
Oh my god!
and he
Really?
walked through it, and he was like getting beat up by all like the little floppy bits
Yeah,
that
dude,
were
I almost
spinning
got
around.
knocked down by one of the big fucking brushes.
And this was nighttime, so he got out and he was like, and wasn't the water hot or something? You
It
said?
was fucking hot. Yeah.
He got out of there and he was like, "Oh my god!" And he was all upset.
I was,
And
I was clean though.
And we gave him cigarettes, and then we kept walking, and we ended up at the zombie factory.
Yep.
There was a building that was called like ACL, which I don't remember what it actually stood for, but we said it was
I don't either.
Advanced Created Life is what we called it.
Yeah. It's a zombie
Which
factory.
was why we called it the Zombie Factory. And they had this humongous fountain out front of the Zombie Factory.
Yeah, they fucking did.
And he wanted more cigarettes by that point because he was drunk and he went through them real quick. And we're like, "If you go walk through that fountain, we'll give you cigarettes." And he was like, "Okay." And for some reason, he got the cigarettes then. And he got them and put them in his pocket. And then proceeded to walk through this big fountain. And the jets started coming up. And he was like, "Oh," and trying to get
I'm
through
a
it.
fucking drowned.
And then he got out of it and he was like, "My cigarettes are all wet. I can't smoke them now." We gave him more, though.
Yeah, you fucking assholes.
It was funny.
It was a good time.
You remember it.
yeah,
And you're
I do.
smiling.
It was funny. It was funny.
It's a
Shitty.
amount of time.
Oh, I remember. I remember another time. I don't remember who the third buddy was, but it was me, that buddy we were just talking about, and somebody else. And we were walking late at night, and that buddy was talking about how he wasn't like super duper happy with his girlfriend at the time. And I had a girlfriend, the other buddy had a girlfriend. And he was like, we should all break up with our girlfriends. We should do it tomorrow. And I remember who it was. It was you.
Was it me?
It was you. And we were talking, and I was like, well, I'm not like super unhappy or anything like that. I was like, no, but like, we'd all be happier if we were all single. And you were like, oh no, man, like I'm all right. And like he was just like, no, we're all unhappy, and we're all gonna break.
I think I remember this.
Yeah, he's like, we're all gonna break up with our
I think I
girlfriends
do
tomorrow.
remember this.
And then he did, and we did not.
And we did not.
And he was mad.
I remember who you're talking about.
And he was mad. I was like,
He did.
never,
He got pissed off.
we were. I was like, dude, we never told you we were going to. Matter of fact, we said we weren't going to. He's like, we had a pact.
He
It's
was
like, no, we
super
didn't.
psyched about it. He was mad as a motherfucker.
He's like, we had a pact. It's like, no, we didn't.
no, we did not.
That's funny.
Yeah, it was a good time.
You had a pact.
With
Good
himself.
for you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was pretty funny.
it was funny.
Yeah. It's a good time.
Times.
So,
What?
remember, so Zombie Factory. We did a lot of walking drunk.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Mhm.
I think that's why we didn't get beer guts at that time.
That's because we were still active.
Yeah.
You're always walking.
We were athletic drunks.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, we were. Because we. Oh, I got a story. You know this. I don't know if you were there, but it was another drunken thing.
We have lots of those.
The hot neighbor downstairs.
Mm-hmm.
We were down there. We were getting drunk. You were there. That other buddy was there. Hamill was there. We were all getting drunk, and somebody dared or offered to pay Hamill to snort some pepper, in which he did. And then the boyfriend of the hot neighbor downstairs had his work stapler, his
Yep.
staple gun,
Yep.
on the coffee table, and it was like the industrial, like thick staples.
Yep.
And I don't remember why, but I remember stapling my arm. And then from the moment I did that, everybody was like, you should staple yourself here, and you should do it here, and you should do it here. And I did, and I was like fucking stapled everywhere. And I think was it you that stapled the exit only sign to my ass cheek?
I believe so.
Yeah. But no, dude, like I stapled like the fucking webbing of my hand.
He did.
I stapled like the very bottom of my big toe.
Oh my gosh.
Fucking,
dude.
I had like a big line of them down my arm, and the other buddy we were just talking about was like, "Dude, I'll give you like $50 if you pull your sack out and staple it to the table." And I
Whoa.
thought about it, but that's like kind of where I drew the line. I was like, no. What if I can't get it back off the table? I don't trust these motherfuckers to pry my ball sack off this table.
Right.
But that was also the night that like we went outside, because we were drunk, and we went outside because you and somebody else wanted to smoke, and I took a hit off a blunt, and I remember asking you, "Was like, James, you should powerbomb me," and you're like, "Why?" I'm like, "Cause I don't think I've ever been powerbombed,"
I think I remember that.
and you powerbombed the fuck out of me, and I was like, "Is that what I've been doing to people?" And you're like, "Yeah," and I was like, "This
I'm
shit
sorry.
sucks.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry."
I also remember one time I had went to Cafe 360
The lamb.
and I came back and I still had this whole little thing because I didn't eat much, and you were out there and you were drunk,
Yeah, I remember this.
and I was like, he was like, "What you got there?" And I was like, "This is my lamb biryani. It's good." And you're like, "I never had lamb," and he opened it. I was like, "Well, have a piece," and he reached in and grabbed it and he ate it and he was like, "That's fucking good."
It
And then I
was.
set it down like on top of like the trash can that was over next to the wall. And like 8 times I kept turning around and he was over there eating my food. He was just standing over there like, it was like they were talking about like a
Munch, munch,
raccoon
munch.
doing all like trash panda things like, and he just stopped when I'd catch him.
I think I ate all your meat.
You did.
I think I did. It was really fucking good. It was really good. I ain't been to 360 in quite a while.
It's been a while.
Did you ever go?
I don't think so.
Oh, dude.
That was great after work.
Yeah. I remember me, you, and Nelson went that one time.
Yeah, because we went and we got food, and then we got like the hookah and the bubbles.
Yeah. It was a good time.
So we were doing
Really
like
good time.
big smoke bubbles out everywhere while we were eating our lamb.
Nice.
It was good.
It was
Nope,
good.
I did not go to that.
How dare you?
It was good times.
I'm sorry.
It's all right.
But
Yeah.
you know, I mentioned that before in when we were all talking about the past like altercations and all that type of stuff. But like I said, you know, Anthony was my timekeeper.
Yeah. I knew that.
Ah,
So
yeah.
he was there for that, and he can attest when I talk about like that end, that like whole blood curdling scream and then like blood flying out and
Dude.
passing out. He saw that.
Oh, wow.
And I thought that man
I
died.
did.
I thought he died.
I was afraid. I thought he might actually die.
But
I
you
really
saw
did.
that. I've never heard somebody scream quite like that. It was bad.
You know,
It was worse than what you would see in the movie.
that's
It really
bad.
was. The sound he made,
And then
dude.
when he did
I thought
it,
that was
blood
the
just
last
went like,
sound he was ever gonna make.
And then he
Yeah.
and then he was done.
He said,
That's
"Bah,"
awful.
and
and then
just-
unconscious.
Blah.
Yeah, but it was this.
Yeah,
"Ah!"
I was
horrible,
afraid he was fucking
blood-curdling
dead.
scream.
Damn.
Horrible thing.
You know, it's funny. Like,
He deserved it though. He deserved every bit of that. Okay, he just okay,
Yeah.
okay. He deserved pain. I don't know about every bit of that. I might have went a little rough on him.
I mean, one tends to do that in that kind of situation.
He deserves something. We'll say
Well,
that.
he definitely deserves something. Now,
He was-
was it excessive?
Anthony was
He
outside
didn't.
for ours.
He
as
didn't
well.
fight back.
Yeah,
huh?
I know, but I told him to multiple
Yeah.
times. He just wouldn't.
Yeah, he refused to fight back. I mean,
I think maybe
It's-
part of that.
it's tough to just hit somebody if they're not willing to fight you back.
And I think that's
It
probably
makes it
what his
difficult.
mentality was. He probably thought maybe he'll take it easy on me if I'm not defending
And I probably
myself
would have if not for the other thing.
for what he did. Yeah.
Well, no, I was talking about the
Right.
whole,
Oh, yeah.
You're being nice to him. You're giving him cigarettes and Monster and stuff. You're not going to hurt him. You're going to puss out. All that stuff beforehand. I bet that was probably the catalyst, honestly.
I think the most interesting fight I've ever seen, and I've told you this probably multiple times, was me, the weird guy, and Hamill were at Jerry's, and
Yeah, I've heard this.
the weird guy had just showed up on his bike. Me and Hamill were there because we just got done eating, and we were outside because he was using the payphone to call his girlfriend. Well, the weird guy showed up on his bike, and he saw us, and he's like, "Hey, what's going on, guys? What you doing?" And I was like, "Well, we're just chilling. We're getting ready to go back to the apartment." You know, Hamill's talking to his girlfriend. He's like, "Who you dating?" And he was like, "Dude, shut up. Leave me alone." Blah, blah, and he was on the phone. And I was like, and I told him who he was dating. He's like, "Oh yeah, I used to date her. Yeah, she's good in bed." And Hamill's just like, "Dude, shut your mouth." He goes, I mean, we're not a thing anymore, but I'm just saying, it's a good piece of ass, you know. And Hamill's like, "Dude, shut the fuck up. That's not cool." He goes, "Well, I don't know why you're getting so defensive about it. You know, I've fucked a lot of people." And
Which he had.
yeah. And
yeah.
and Hamill
Yeah.
Hamill fucking just decked him, and he didn't go down, and he didn't seem that phased, and he was just like, "We're gonna fight now. Yeah, we're gonna fight." So Hamill's like, "I gotta go," and he hung up. And he goes, and I was like, "Let's not do this here, guys." And the weird guy was like, "Yeah, let's go to the square. Come on, let's go." So we went down to that little field, like, you know, not the field, but the little corner right there where we used to wrestle.
Right.
And so like
corner.
he
Yeah.
put his bike down, and you know, they were just kind of circling each other. I was like, "Dude, fucking fight!" And they started going at it, and like, dude, they were really fucking going at it. And then all of a sudden, like, weird guy had Hamill in like a headlock and was like punching the shit out of him, and then he was like, "Hey, isn't wrestling coming on soon?" And Hamill's like, "Yeah, Yeah, I think it should be on soon. And then Hamill like got out of it and started hitting him. And then Weird Guy was like, "Well, do you want to like put this on pause and go watch wrestling?" And Hamill's like, "Yeah, I think we should do that. We don't want to miss it." And they stopped. And I watched them just fucking walk upstairs, and I'm sitting here going, "The fuck just happened?"
What?
And we did. We all went upstairs and watched fucking WWE on TV, and they acted like it fucking never happened.
Wow.
So fucking weird. Never seen that before.
This
Weird.
is very weird.
Never had a conversation mid-fight. It's weird.
Just like an actual just conversation?
Yeah, like
No. Never did that.
no.
I've given people breaks. I've done that before.
I've talked a lot of shit.
Oh yeah, I've done that
Talking
too.
a lot of shit when I'm fucking somebody up. Like
But I mean, there's a difference between talking a little bit of shit and having a full-on conversation in the middle.
I don't really talk
True.
when I fight. Not really. Not that I can think of.
I mean, that's just how I used to be. I was
Do
very
you remember?
not cool.
Do you remember when we were working at Porter's and trying to think of a way to say? We'll just say our buddy JB
Gotcha.
called us and he was like in the hospital.
I was waiting for when this was going to come up.
I
I don't think he was in the hospital. I think he was just at the house.
was he at the house?
Yeah.
But he had been jumped.
Yep.
That was man.
Jumped by some of the Charlestown people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you told me about it, and you were like, when we get off work, do you want to go to Charlestown and, we need to take care of this? I'm like,
Well, I'd been jumped
Yeah,
before, and
no,
I
yeah,
ain't
it's-
dealing with it.
you don't do that.
And those were people who knew better. I mean,
Mhm.
there were people who knew us and knew how we felt about it, and that was one of our friends, and it wasn't going to happen like that.
That's true. But I remember, man, I got in trouble for that.
Did you?
Yeah.
By who?
My girlfriend at the time.
Okay.
I did.
Either way.
But no, it was fine. It was
Yeah, I
fine.
remember that. Yeah, we went down there as soon as we got off work, found those people, all
Mhm.
those people together, and then we're just like, look, one of you's at least one of you's gonna do this.
Mhm.
So I remember me and you were just like, well, you want to do it? I want to do it. Who's
Didn't
gonna
we?
do
Didn't
it?
we paper rock scissors for it?
I don't think so. I think we asked if we were going to, but I think it went. You knew those people better, so you take care of it.
Okay, fair enough.
And then you just went back and beat the shit out of that guy.
Yeah.
It was bad. I remember. And then we had to call up our other buddy and be like, "We got it."
Yeah, it's been handled.
The other people were like, "We didn't mean it. We didn't do it. We did blah 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 blah." And the other
Well,
guy was like,
we got the story. I mean, that's what it was, and like we were like, okay, so yeah, you were part of it. You were a part of it. You initiated it, and like,
It all came back to that one guy
Yeah.
basically being it's his. Yeah.
and he was like, we told him like, you're gonna deal with this. We're gonna go fight. He was like, all right, come on, let's go. Like, he wasn't like being super shitty, but he was like, I don't know, like
He manned up.
he did.
Not for long. But
No.
I mean,
Oh. Damn.
I just remember hearing the thuds of the fist and him going, ah! a bunch of times. Because it was all dark. It was like at the side of the house.
Yeah.
It was like I could see silhouettes.
Yeah, and it was like between like still night and morning. It was, yeah.
Getting off work at a bar and then going and beating somebody up in the early morning.
Mm-hmm.
Like you never left work.
Kinda.
Yeah.
Even though, again, out of the whole time I worked there, I never punched anybody. I shoved somebody a couple times. I never punched anybody.
I never punched anyone. I speared somebody. Never punched anybody.
I felt good about that.
Yeah.
I never got hit either. I got my hair
I
pulled
did.
once. I got my hair pulled once, and I had that guy start to bite my arm.
I got hit twice there. Once at the hill by
I
the
got-
black woman that you were holding,
Yep.
Oh,
You
yeah,
remember that?
Yeah.
and and then the guy that I speared, he hit me,
Mm-hmm.
which is why he got speared.
I got I got punched in the face at the hill by a black chick too.
What if it was
Trying
the
to
same
split.
one?
Well, I don't know. I don't know. She ran away. There was these two chicks fighting in the upper the garden. Oh shit.
The roof garden?
The roof garden. Yep. Um, in that long hallway right next to the sky bridge.
Yeah.
I'm talking about. So I was trying to split them up, and I pulled this one chick off, and I turned around, and there it was, just came right at me, bow. I was like, oh, and my shirt ripped. I got so fucking angry. I was like, you fucking little. And I
Now
didn't do
ain't
nothing.
mad.
She took off. I mean, flames came out of her feet, dude. Wow, she booked it.
She
You know what I'm
sonicked away.
saying? So I tried talking to the other chick, you know, and I was like, and I went and told somebody, hey, keep on the lookout. The chick's got to go. We never
The
found
chick
her.
with fiery feet.
Yeah.
She has to go.
Yeah, look for the smoke. You know, she's
Smoke.
got to go.
And,
But that was the only time I got hit.
and Sonic had the.
So-
Well, people tried to hit. I just did a really good at and
Yeah.
grip and go.
You remember? You remember that guy that I smacked in the face with the wand
no.
during security check? You don't remember that?
No.
No.
That sounds great. What happened?
Wait, it was a
It sounds
Sunday
like he
party
smacked
at
a guy in the
Porter's.
face with a wand.
I missed that part.
Okay, you were in charge at the time, Dolph.
Okay. That's probably
And
why I didn't know about it.
It was a Sunday party, and we were out front by the big door.
Mhm.
You know, that's the one that they were using, and we had the tables set up and the scanners and the wands. Everybody had to come around the big rope and all that, empty their pockets and all that. And this one guy, he took out his cigarette pack and he put it on the table, and I checked it, and it had a cellophane in it with a bunch of pills.
Oh,
And
man.
I was like, bro, come on. You know, you can't bring that in. So, or no, wait a minute. Yeah. I took him out, and I put him in my pocket. And then I had him spread his arms out and everything, and I was wanding him down, and I wouldn't pay attention. When I came up, I clocked him in the face with the wand, like pretty good.
Did you at least give him his
His
stuff back
body moved
afterwards?
and everything? No, I kept it.
Well, that's
And I
shitty.
looked over at Dolph as soon as I did it, and he was laughing his ass off over by the door.
That sounds about
He
right.
couldn't. You really don't remember that? 'Cause
No.
That guy, as soon as I hit him, he looked at me, and I looked at him, and his eyes, dude, he was
He's like-
like in kill mode, and he knew he could not do anything. And I kept his shit too. I did not give.
Damn.
I just heard something.
And I was like, all right, go
Sounded
on.
like something powering
Yeah.
off.
Oh, I did not hear that.
I heard it.
Yeah, he was very angry.
The phone stopped? Oh, no.
It's back.
Let's hope.
What happened?
Just a second.
I heard it. I heard it click.
Apparently, one of our recording devices stopped recording,
We had some technical difficulties for a brief moment.
but we fixed it.
Say what?
Technical difficulties.
Oh, okay.
Difficulties that are
I did not-
technical,
Yeah, technological
There you
difficulties.
are. Okay.
of the
I'm
technical
telling you,
variety.
something powered off over here. I haven't figured it out yet. But as long as you all are still getting me, it's fine.
Oh, we're getting you.
I remember
Yeah,
at one of those Sunday parties, I remember there was a guy that had got thrown out. I believe he got thrown out at the VIP door. And then he came around and came back in the main door where we were. And they found him
that
again.
happened a lot.
Yeah,
They
I
found him,
did.
and then when they found him again, they ended up taking him out the back door of the ballroom, not the one next to the green room, but the one close to that corner.
Yeah. yeah.
They ended up taking him out there, and then he was like he was like scraping or like rolling around with the guards, and then the cops came running, and then the guards backed off, and the cops took over.
Didn't
and
they beat him with the mag light?
They did, but that was after he hit them.
Yeah.
I mean, they were trying to just get him to calm down, and he hit him. So they started like beating this guy with the flashlight, and I started walking over there, and they were like, "Back up," and I went forward more, but that was because when he was rolling around on the ground with the guy, he dropped probably like a quarter bag of pot. And while the cops were all tussling around with him, I just reached down and pocket. And I was like, ha ha. It's like, yay.
Dude, I remember I got really pissed at you once.
Yeah, I was wondering if that was going to get brought up.
Oh.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Dude, that
I should
Sunday
have
party-
split it with you. It was my fault. I should have.
Okay, so here's what was so horrible about it. We had to be outside. It was dark and it was cold, and it started to rain.
Anthony was
As we got
the
there.
gate.
he was manning the gate
Hold
for the
on.
parking
I
lot.
remember
Hold
all the
on.
bags and
Just-
stuff.
Hold on.
So it started to rain, and I remember I had to do the marquee in the rain before the
This-
party.
Oh, this is a different story. Never mind.
No, it's probably the same story.
This was
And-
Thanksgiving, if I remember right.
Around that time, yeah.
Yeah.
And I got promoted to go stand at the fucking gate by the road during this whole party. Promoted, quote unquote. Okay.
You know, if you,
okay,
if
well,
you,
you
if
said
you
the
worked
rain-
that spot right, it was a promotion.
Well, you said the marquee, which made me think that you were talking about the very end of the night. But yeah, you're right. On those parties, we had to change it right before the
We had
party.
to change at the beginning.
So you're right. You're right. My
for
bad.
the
But I
setup.
will say you were
So I
air
had to-
quoting it. But if you worked that spot right, that really was a promotion.
Well, on this particular day, it was not.
That was just bad
So
timing
the rain
and greediness
rain-
on my part.
I don't know this.
turned into sleet, which turned into snow, which turned into ice,
I
and
remember
then back
all of
to
that,
snow. And I was out there by that fucking gate for however many hours it was. I mean, we had to get there early, so it was like 8 o'clock, right?
And
Something
I
like that.
remember we had told you before about previously when you work that gate, sometimes you can make extra money by selling
Yeah,
spaces that
yeah.
aren't spaces when you're not supposed to let the cars in.
Right, right. And so, at this one particular point, my fucking feet were frozen. Just fucking frozen.
Oh, I do know this.
And I went over to the guard shack
I do
where
know this
James
story.
was, and I was like, dude, you got a heater in there. Can you just like trade me out for a minute, please? And he's like, yeah, man, I got you. It's cool. Go ahead. And I'm in there maybe long enough to smoke a cigarette, 3-4 minutes, something like that. And I come out. James had made $100 fucking by letting
I
somebody
do remember
in
this.
One car.
in one car. And I went back, and he told me about it, and he did not split it with me. He did not buy me a pack of cigarettes. He didn't do shit. And I was like,
I
"You son of a bitch."
probably bought you cigarettes.
You did not.
Maybe not at that point, but maybe the next day or
did-
something. I made
did
sure
not.
you had stuff while we were living there because you were living there too. I
Yeah,
made,
you did.
I
You
made
did,
sure
but,
you had stuff.
But I was fucking miserable that whole night.
Oh.
And that guy walks over and just in a snap of a finger made $100, dude. I was pissed,
Well,
motherfuckers.
yeah, I'll admit that was a shitty thing for me to do.
That
It was.
is pretty shitty.
But
dude.
one time I did that, and I did it completely unintentionally because Mr. Big Toe, me and him had an arrangement, where he wanted me to do
Right,
those type
right.
of things, as long as I split it with him, and he would make sure I
Same.
was covered, make sure nothing would happen.
Hmm
And
He
so,
told me the same thing.
and so I did that, and there was one particular night where I think only in 2 instances did I ever make $100 for a car. On the other instance that I'm talking about, I had made one of those, and it was like, I don't remember if it was a Lamborghini. It was something. It was this really pretty yellow, exotic car, and I had done that, and the guy gave me $100 for it. And this was the thing. The guy gave me the money, and then somehow, in like 10 seconds, I forgot that he had gave me the money. I thought he hadn't give it to me yet. And so when he parked, I walked back up to him and I was like, "What's up, man? We had a deal." And he was like, "Man, get the fuck out of here. You ain't extorting me for this shit." And I was like, "Dude, you didn't give me anything." And because I even checked through my pockets and I was like, "It's not here. I don't know what you're talking about." And then when the big toe came over, talked to me later, he's like, "I seen that car. It probably got a good one." It was like, he stiffed me. He didn't give me the money. And he was just like, "What the fuck?" And when we couldn't find the guy, and then it got to the end of the night, and he's like, "That guy really stiff you, man, or you trying to stiff me?" And it's like, "Man, fuck you. I didn't do that." But you know, and because I was positive I didn't.
Right.
And then we left that night, and me and you went to the Speedway to get
remember.
cigarettes.
And you found it.
And I found it in my pocket. It actually was there. And I was like, "Oh, I feel so horrible now."
Right.
That's funny.
I felt really bad then.
I remember I had made some money on that one night. It wasn't $100, but and we went to that Speedway, and I bought one of those pizzas from Speedway.
Oh, yeah.
Man, them
Had a
breakfast
breakfast
pizzas.
pizzas.
Yeah.
It was good. The few
And
they didn't do it all the time, but the time when they actually had the gravy underneath the cheese.
Yes.
They didn't do it all the time, but when they did have it,
Yeah.
that was like the best thing.
I remember I was too tired to eat, so when we got back, I put it in the fridge,
And then it was gone.
and I went and I laid down, and I got up, and it was fucking. Not only was it gone, the box was still in the fridge, but it was empty.
So,
Dude, that happened all the time. You
Dude.
know that.
dude,
I
I
know,
when-
I was pissed.
when I was living with my dad and my
So
brother
pissed.
on Crestview Court, and I was still working at the club, I remember getting off work at Phoenix Hill one night, and fuck, I bought one of them breakfast pizzas, a whole one, and I brought it home, and I'm like, "Oh, this is gonna be so good." And I remember getting home, and I was like, "You know what? I'm really not that hungry, and I'm tired. I'll eat it tomorrow." And I put it in the fridge,
Mhm.
and yeah, I woke up, and the fucking thing was gone. Box was gone.
Yep.
Everything was gone. And I asked, and everybody. It wasn't many people living there. I know my dad didn't do it. My dad didn't eat anything that he deemed weird, and it was just my brother and his girlfriend there, and both of them were like, "I didn't see no pizza in the fridge." I'm like, "There's a big box of pizza in the fridge." "I don't know what you're talking about." Like, was it good? Tell me it was good at least. "I ain't eating no pizza." I was like, "All right, whatever." Oh,
Oh,
Yeah.
man. Yeah, but you couldn't keep anything in that apartment.
no.
It
Nope.
was impossible. You had to
I remember going to bed and stuffing everything in my pockets into my shoes.
Yeah, stuff like that. And then hide your shoes.
Yeah, well, I would use my shoes as a pillow. I'd fold up my shirt and put it on my shoes.
Well, you
and
practically
use it as
have
a
to.
pillow.
Stuff would just disappear.
Yeah, and I'd use my coat as a blanket.
The few
So,
times that I
I'd have
did
all my
sleep
shit
over
on
there,
there.
I just left my shit in my pockets. It was uncomfortable, but it was safe.
Safer.
Safer, yeah.
I don't blame you.
I mean, I won't. I
And
won't
you know,
put it
it
past
didn't-
somebody.
It did not used to be that way until we got to Lafayette, and even after Lafayette, it was still fine until the extra people started showing up.
Yeah, I mean,
And a lot of that
yeah,
And a lot of that was, because our sister-in-law showed up and started
Sister-in-law.
bringing people in.
Right.
Sister-in-law. Sister-in-law? Who am I not thinking of?
yeah, that's true.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Gotcha.
That's true.
yeah.
But I mean, there was
Dragging
a,
all those stragglers in.
There was a
you know.
little bit of that would happen at Ridge, but not nearly to the
Yeah,
not
a
not to
little
the
bit,
degree.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It wasn't near as bad until after all that, man. Then it was just like horrible.
Oh, man. It did get bad. Yeah, we were
Yeah.
talking about that last episode where it got to the point where, like, every so often everybody keeps having to empty their
Yeah,
pockets.
yeah, they have one of those. Yeah, everybody empty your pockets. Do it now.
I remember taking my hat off throwing it on the floor, dropping all my shit into my hat,
and it got
just
to the point. It's not
stepping back like this.
It's not even like you were super offended that you were doing it as much as I can't believe this shit is going on, that it has to happen.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if you didn't do it,
this
I
is
mean,
a
you're
fucking
not.
drag. We're doing it again.
Yeah, we're supposed to be like, hanging out and like having a good time, and it's.
I
getting
can't
to the
remember.
point
Did
where-
we ever actually catch anybody with the pockets?
I don't
I
remember any
want
instances.
to. I want to think we did a couple of times, maybe.
I can't think of any times.
I don't remember it ever actually happening.
Yeah, I mean, it may have, but who's to say?
I feel like yes, but I couldn't say what happened about it. Nothing really stands out.
I said last episode, but I meant 2 episodes back. You listened to that. Do you remember that story that I was talking about?
You have to probably remind him.
Where it's me, Hamill, DL, the blood curdly scream guy, and Delmer were all over. Like, you were there, but you showed up afterwards, like after the cigarettes had come up missing, and like you had come into his mom's room.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I was in
remember
there,
that.
and you were like, "So did you get a culprit yet?" And I'm like, "No." I was like, "But I'm gonna give them 10 more minutes, and then they're all gonna get hit in the face." And you were like, "Yeah." And then I remember afterwards, you were like, because after they all went out in the other room, you were like, "Should I hit you, Dolph? You were here." And I'm like, "I mean, if you want to." And you were like, "I kind of want to, but no, I don't think I will." I was like, "Okay." I was like, "You can," and you were like, "Nah, I'll be all right." But
Man, that got exhausting after a while.
It really did.
We did, yeah. I think I was convinced it was Delmer, and I'm
Everybody
pretty sure
was convinced.
I pulled my knife out and put it to his throat.
I remember hearing about that. I didn't see it because I was in the other room.
He was, I put him against the wall, and I took it out.
That poor guy.
I put it there, and I was like, "You feel those teeth?" I said, "Can you imagine those ripping your fucking skin open right now?" Dude, I was really like into it.
Yeah, because I like went out.
And it turns out it wasn't even him. I apologized to him about it later.
Yeah.
I really did, because it wasn't
Well,
him.
we didn't know for like fucking a year and a half after that it fucking happened. the
But
way
I
it
thought
did.
I thought for sure I was going to get a confession that way. You
We'll
know what I'm
see.
saying?
We'll see. There you go. We can talk about. I probably shouldn't have went that hard, but you know what? He had it building up for years.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know him that long,
Yeah.
so.
Well, he had it building up for years, so it.
Oh,
it
you're
ended up-
talking about DL?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, so it wasn't just all that stuff. I probably should have taken it easier, but he had it coming from a lot of stuff. He had a
Yeah.
lot of built up stuff that he had to pay for.
I'm not even gonna get into the fucking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
The other shit.
I'm convinced he's pretty well paid for it all now.
Yeah,
Probably,
That I mean, that was rough. I know you didn't see it, but it was rough. Anthony saw it. It was rough.
It was, yeah. It's probably the worst thing I've ever seen as far as somebody getting beat.
I heard it was pretty bad. I wasn't there. Again, nobody fucking like walked over.
You weren't
Fucking-
there.
I was in my apartment. I was 30 feet away.
That's true.
It's like, hey,
Surprised you didn't hear it.
he's like, just someone knocked
He
on my
fucking,
door.
dude, he fucking screamed loud.
I remember
mean,
coming over later that night or the next
Gosh.
day, and I remember DL was on the love seat by the window, and he just had a blanket over. I'm like, who's under the blanket? And somebody was like, well, that's DL. And I'm like, is he asleep? And I'm like, no. I'm like, why is he under the blanket? And somebody was like, yeah, you should show him. And he was just like, and I was like, oh God, what the fuck happened to you?
Like I said, that fist print stayed in his forehead for days.
It was there, yeah. Just
It
big
did.
Boom. And I was
He
like,
did, yeah.
I was like, what happened to you? And he's like, James. And I'm like, why? And then I ended up learning the story. I'm like, oh, all right.
Yeah, I remember Nick coming over, like within like an hour of it happening,
Yeah.
and he was just like, he was like, oh, what's up with him? And I was like, Nick, look. And I like walked over and I was like, See? And I showed him my fist, and I was like, his forehead. I was like, move the cover, move it. And he moved it, and I was like, look, it matches. Look.
It's a perfect.
And Nick was
fit.
like, oh. Well, don't do stupid shit.
So
That's what you
not-
fucking get.
Not so Cinderella story.
Well, you know, I mean, Nick didn't mince words when it comes to stuff like that.
No.
Nope.
He
Not at all.
He was such a weirdo.
I'm not talking about the weird one.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I thought you were talking about the weird one.
Oh, no.
Nope. Good old Nick.
Man.
Well, you know, I mean, you know, people can say what they want about him, but he is very speak his mind. We'll say that.
I've always liked Nick.
He will tell you exactly what he thinks.
You know,
I've
good
never
or
had a
good or
problem with
good
Nick.
or bad.
He's a good dude. I think he's got some issues, but all in all, he's a good dude.
Last time I heard from him, he seemed to be doing good.
That's good.
That's good.
Yeah.
Or they finally, you know, got a place and good job for a good while. And
Calmed
it's
down.
actually, yeah. Well, he had to.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah. Dude,
Man.
he was my best friend.
I know.
Ever.
That's why I was a little iffy
I
about.
love that guy. I really do. I love him. I'll never not love him.
You just can't fucking stand him, and I understand.
It's just too much sometimes.
Yeah,
So,
I understand. It was. I was really happy to see you at his dad's funeral, though.
oh, dude, I loved his dad. Tim was great.
I loved Geese.
I didn't even know he was sick.
Neither did I.
I did not even know he was sick.
I
That
just
sucks because
remember.
I would have visited him
Me
at some
too.
point. You know.
I remember. I was sad that you weren't up there with us playing the music.
I wasn't asked to be.
Well, I didn't. Like
and
I said,
I
I
was
just.
not informed it was going to happen.
I know you.
beforehand.
I know you would have, without a question.
Absolutely.
Like I said, I brought my acoustic bass with me because you know this. Every single time that I would be around Geese, if I didn't have a bass with me, he'd be like, "Where's that bass?" And I'd be like, "Well, I
Yep.
don't have it." He's like, "Well, why the fuck not? Well, you got it." You
Yeah.
always. He wanted me to have that thing with me all the time. And I was going there, and I was like, "That motherfucker's gonna haunt me for the rest of my life if I don't bring a bass to his funeral."
He would do it to me too, man. He'd be like,
Okay.
"Where's your guitar? Long hair?" Like, "Ah, man, I did. Oh, come on, you gotta play some shit, man.
Yeah.
Sit down."
So I had to make sure
Play
that
me
I
something.
make sure that I brought it, and it was good. It was weird. That was like one of the happiest funerals I've ever been to.
Happy
It was
funerals
supposed
are
to be.
good.
Yeah, most of them I agree they should be, but most of them are so sad and everybody's like just down.
Right,
Everybody was smiling and happy and wearing chucks.
That one was hella respectful, for
Yeah.
sure. It really was.
I mean, but it was just funny. Yeah, everybody was wearing chucks. They had 'em.
Well, I wasn't wearing checks.
I didn't either because I didn't have
any,
any, but everybody that had chucks were wearing chucks.
That's funny.
Yeah, and I remember that picture where there's like 12 or 15 or something different chucks, all put in a circle. Did you see that picture?
Yeah.
That's
Everybody who wore chucks stuck one foot in.
You know, I got
Just a whole bunch of them.
I don't remember if you were in on that or not. I don't think you were, 'cause that might have been right before you showed up. But I got before the actual funeral part, but while we were there, I did get to go out and smoke the rest of Geese's last joint.
Oh wow.
Oh, damn! Really?
Yeah, he
No.
said that he got halfway through it and put it out and said he didn't want it, and then it was like the next day, and he kept it for that, and it kept for that occasion, and we had it. I wasn't going to because of my job at the time, but this was years and years ago. But I wasn't going to because of my job.
No, I didn't. I didn't smoke until after the funeral, and I only did it for him.
Well, like I
know.
said,
But it was not that.
I had pretty much quit at that point. I hadn't in a long time before that, and I hadn't a long time since then. But it just
Right.
I would have felt bad saying no at that point
That's fair.
because it was offered,
Same.
and with that kind of thing, and it was offered. You know, if I would have said no, I felt like I would have been an asshole.
Dude, I would have absolutely agreed. I would have, and that's why I did it afterwards. When we all got together,
Yeah,
because it was four giggies, so I wasn't gonna say no.
yeah, but like I said,
I
that
used to
was
smoke so much with him, you know.
yeah. But
I was
mean,
like,
that
yeah,
that
I'll do it this
last
one
I
time.
thought that was a cool thing.
That is cool.
Hmm. Yeah, may he rest in peace.
With the geese.
Piggies.
He's a good guy.
Only met him a couple of times. I liked him though. He's a good dude.
Yeah, but I mean, you meet him once, and that
Yeah.
was enough. I mean, you knew the guy after that.
I think I met him at Slammers the first time.
That was how he was all the time.
Yeah.
Do you remember when those people tried to steal our money out of our tip jar when we were in the
Yes,
band?
while we were playing.
Yeah.
Oh,
I remember
man,
we had to like
we had that
stop the
bucket
song
right next to us.
we had to like stop the song, and then everybody was pissed, but we had to actually like stop Nick because Nick was going to jump on him. Like we were threatened, we
Yes.
were mad, but Nick was he was putting down his guitar
Nick
trying
was
to
ready
go.
to just.
That would have
Yeah.
been bad.
It was funny.
He would-
It was
He
the
would have
other
ripped
people
that
in the
dude's face
other
off.
people in the bar. I think were the ones that saw him, didn't they?
Yeah,
Just
they
not even our
they
friends,
stopped him.
just other people, and they stopped him, and then everybody made him leave. It wasn't even our people.
Yep.
That's awesome.
They were just like, no.
No, you don't do that. That's cool.
They made him bring it back up and apologize to us.
Well, I think after
And
that,
then
there's a
then
bunch of
he-
people that were pissed off. I mean, that was his
Yeah,
best course
dude.
of
There was,
action.
I mean, easily a dozen or more people, including us, that wanted to beat the fuck out of this guy. And nothing happened to him. He got kicked out.
Uh-huh.
Lucky son of a bitch.
Yeah, that
Very
worked out the
lucky
best
guy.
it could have for him, I guess, other than getting away scot-free.
Mhm.
But
I remember going to
Right.
two different shows that you guys had at Slammers, and not just going in there, but like also drinking and like just being dumbfounded that I look really young and I'm not 21, and I'm being served in a bar, and I'm watching my buddies play music. This is fucking great.
if it says anything,
Well, we were the house band, man.
if it says
Yeah,
anything,
yeah.
for the first like 6 months of us doing that, I was 20. I remember
Yep.
I remember it was like, I don't know, it was on my birthday, but it was the first show after my birthday. I remember going up to the bartender lady and being like, "Hey, you have never carded me." And she was like, "Let's start now." And I handed it to her, and she looked at it, and she went, "You little son of a bitch." And I was like, "Sorry."
That's so funny.
You remember the show that we played on Nick's porch?
For
The
Thunder?
Thunder over Louisville.
Fuck yeah.
Yes.
You know,
That
everybody
was a
would park like a mile or
badass
two
party.
away from Thunder
Yeah.
and walk in because there was no place to park. So we just set up everything on Nick's front porch
That's
and
cool.
played for hours while everybody walked by, and
That's a
a lot
great
of people
idea.
would stop
They would
and
walk
listen.
by, they'd stop in the yard, get fucked up. I mean, dude, we had
Yeah,
a
because they would
massive
stop by
crowd
and
at
drink
one
our
point.
alcohol and give us some of theirs. And
Me and my brother.
Yep.
Me and my
Gosh,
brother
that
one
was
year
so
for
fun.
it was
Thunder.
good times.
Yeah, me. And
I
my,
remember I had your sunglasses, and you were like, "Will you give those back?"
Yeah, me and my brother one
Because
year.
I
It was
actually
great.
wore them the whole time we were playing.
So, when I was living with my brother and my dad right there in Crestview, we had noticed the previous year that there were people even parking that far away for
Uh-huh.
Thunder.
Yeah.
And they would be walking down the street with their coolers and their chairs and shit like that, and they'd go. And I remember, like, the day before Thunder, my brother was like, we're gonna have a business venture tomorrow. And I'm like, what kind of business venture? And he's like, we're gonna go buy a bunch of sodas. We're gonna get a cooler. We're gonna set out a little stand in front of the house, and when the people walk by, we're gonna make a shit ton of money. So we're gonna upcharge them for sodas because everybody gets thirsty when they're walking. I was like, all right, well, this sounds promising. Fuck it, let's do it. And we did not make as much as we thought we would. We made it. We ended up profiting like $50. It was cool. It was a good
Still.
little idea.
Do you remember our when we had to remove all those bricks from Nick's truck? We had like an assembly line going on in his driveway. We're tossing bricks to each other.
Yes. I do, yeah.
And then our wasn't our singer like he was throwing you a pack of cigarettes? He like pegged you right in the
Dude,
head.
okay.
It
So
flattened the whole corner of the
he-
pack.
he
on
showed
Anthony's
up.
forehead.
Oh
he showed
my
up
God.
late, and he was all the way at the end of the driveway, and I was coming down the steps of the house. Like, I mean, it was probably a good, 30 feet or something?
Yeah, we had to empty all these
20, 30
bricks. So it's
feet.
like one guy get a brick, toss
Yeah.
it to the next guy tosses it, and we did that and got them all.
Shit.
So he takes out a pack of cigarettes and he's like, "Hey!" and he throws them, and it comes and it pegs me right in the fucking face, just bow. Ah. And it even dented the.
Yeah, it was
pack.
like flattened the whole
Like,
corner.
Yeah,
your
just
face.
I was like, "Son of a bitch!" I remember that. That sucked. Dude.
I remembered it.
Perfect.
That's so funny.
It was perfect. Perfect fuckery.
I also
smoked
remember.
them
I
anyway.
also remember before one of our shows, I had seen the original like PS2 Guitar Hero at the store because it had just came out, and I remember buying that on my way to because we had a little bitty practice before our show. And I remember buying it there. And then it was hard to make us quit playing it so we could actually take our instruments to the bar to play our actual show.
That's so funny.
And then after we brought everything back to Nick's house, then we went back to
Started
playing it
playing
again.
again.
That's great.
It's like, no, we
Good
can't
times,
play the
man.
real instruments. We got to play the fake plastic one on the TV.
That's so funny.
It was harder.
Yeah,
It was harder to play Guitar Hero at
I
that
love
time.
Guitar Hero, man. I ain't played that in forever.
it was just funny though.
That is funny.
Yeah.
This has been a good time.
Do we got an actual topic, or are we just like going like, I remember this. Oh,
We were
well,
just
I remember. Well,
bullshitting.
because you remembered that, I remembered this. Because you remembered that, I remember this thing.
I mean, what's wrong with that?
There's nothing wrong with
there's
it, but
nothing
you know,
wrong
I mean,
It's
we
rigmarole.
do- we
Like,
do-
that's
yeah,
the whole
that's
point.
true.
That's
That
the
is true.
whole point.
that is
We don't need topics.
rigmarole.
Are you okay?
I think so.
Mole.
Not brought to you by Better Health.
Mole.
Mole. This has been good.
Has it?
Yeah, last episode was good too.
Yeah.
You're a good guest.
I know.
Not modest at all.
No, thank you. Thank you.
Oh.
It's fun. Having a good
It's a
time.
good time, yeah.
Hey, I know we were talking about all the strippers and stuff before, and we said that there are people that say that they have found the stripper boob smell, and we've said that we have never completely agreed that smell
I
was
know.
the
I know
actual
it.
official stripper boob smell.
You know it.
But you always said that you did.
I- Yes.
What is it?
Victoria's Secret love spell.
It's not love spell. It
It
can't be.
is.
No, it's not.
See, a lot of people were saying it was that whatever fantasy in the purple bottle from the dollar store,
Love spell.
and that was close.
Oh, that's a knockoff. That was actually a knockoff.
So
of
love spell is my absolute favorite perfume, my favorite scent. Like I go nuts for it. I'm not gonna lie. And that, it's very close in my opinion to stripper boobs. It's very close, but I don't think that's it.
Maybe
know that scent.
it was love spell mixed with like some kind of lotion.
It could be. I don't know, but I know that smell. I know it.
It's definitely part of the
It,
combination.
it
if
could
it's
be.
not
It's
the entire
similar.
thing.
Like I'll give you that. It
Because-
is very similar.
Because I know that I have smelled that throughout my life and gone, oh, I smell stripper boobs just immediately. And I would ask chicks, what are you wearing?
Love spell.
Love spell. Or it'd be that Body Fantasies fucking,
Yeah,
what
the
you were
purple,
talking
the
about, the
purple
purple
bottle
one?
at the dollar store.
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah,
The
the
Dollar
cheap shit,
General.
which smelled really good and really close.
Yeah.
It did.
Maybe it's like
And
that
then,
mixed with some cocoa butter or something.
It's got to be something like that. Yeah.
And it's still like it's kind of weird. My sister-in-law wears it, and she'll come out and she's like, "Hey," and I'm like, "You smell delicious," and I'll be like, "Give me a hug," and I'm like, "Oh, stripper boobs," you know.
Stripper
fucking-
boobs have a very
that's-
distinct
that's what it
smell,
is.
and it's
They
always
do.
excellent.
They do.
It is always excellent.
I wonder if that's like just like one of those like a trade secret type thing.
That's funny.
Which we are not. Rigmarole is not sponsored by Victoria's Secret,
Or stripper boobs.
Or I was gonna say, or stripper boobs. Yeah.
but
But-
we could be associated with stripper boobs.
So, but
But
we like stripper
But-
boobs. We would definitely
man.
sponsor stripper boobs and money. We like both of those things.
give us your money.
And your boobs.
God. I love it. We were talking earlier about y'all were talking about like alcoholic Mountain Dew and alcoholic Monster.
Yes.
Do you remember when we made alcoholic Surge?
Yeah, but I like the regular one better.
Well, yeah, for sure. Do
The
you
whole
remember?
Surge era, trying to make Surge and all that shit.
Oh,
and
we didn't
alcoholic
try
Surge.
shit.
Hey, I think
I
by the
know.
end of that, I think our
Actually figured it
formula
out.
was
Our formula was
perfect.
yeah, because remember I had ordered some cans.
It was spot on.
and we tested.
a bunch of times, a bunch of
Yeah.
different things until we got
Yes.
the right stuff,
Yeah,
and we got it.
I
and then
remember
and then
that.
they fucking discontinued Vault and Gazoo.
Yeah,
They're like,
And
oh,
Kazoo.
that's
yep.
what we needed. Yeah. The secret for that time was Vault,
yeah,
the Gazoo Mango Orange
yep,
energy drink,
Mango Orange.
7-Up,
and 7-Up, and
And-
like two or three drops of food coloring.
green food color. Yep. That was the mixture, and it was spot on. And
Yeah.
then I made YouTube videos about it, and then shortly after that,
They discontinued those other
those
things.
sons of bitches, oh, you figured it out, did you? You're drinking Surge again? No, you're not. No, you're not.
But it was perfect.
It was spot on.
It
I remember.
was.
I remember. We even we
Delicious.
talked to people at the club about that,
Mhm.
and we brought the stuff into the club and started making it for people in the back, and they were
We
like,
did.
"Oh my god!"
Yeah,
Even them, even they were happy.
it was
Mm-hmm.
perfect.
Remember our Surge commercial?
Yeah, I do.
Do you remember all those commercials, Anthony, where they would, it'd show all the people doing all the extreme stuff, and they'd be all like, "Surge!" and then they'd go run and
Yes.
go running down a hill or
Feed the rush.
all that stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
we did one of
Feed
those.
the rush.
I remember
Yep.
that. It was like I was on the phone. And I picked up the phone, and then he yelled "Surge!" and I was like, "Oh God!" and I'd take out of the room, and then Hamill did that, and then he did that, and then we ended up all meeting up in the field, and they just had one of those tray tables sitting in the middle of the field with one glass of Surge sitting there,
It's like a goblet, like a
and
little
then we
wine
ended up
glass.
having like a little impromptu wrestling match,
Yeah,
trying to get to the Surge.
it was great.
And my favorite thing was the cup, the whoop.
Yeah,
He like popped it out of Hamill's hand or something, and then caught it and drank it.
you did.
I did it.
Yeah, remember I hit. Hamill was standing up. I was on the ground. I popped him in the balls. He dropped it. I caught it. And then
didn't you take a sip, like a little, or started to, or something?
And then I had it, and no, Hamill had it, and you smacked it out of his hands and caught it in the air.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I just remember something that ended up with someone drinking it, and then whether you or Hamill like dropping down to the knees and going, "No!"
it was no.
Or
It
was it me?
It was
Somebody.
you. Because remember, you had it, and you took a swig and set it on the table, turned around, kicked me, suplexed me, and then you started crawling back to the table. And as you were going,
That's right.
you saw an empty glass get set down by Hamill, and
He was
went,
like, "Ah!"
and you're like, no! It was fantastic.
It was like Surge.
yeah. That's still on YouTube.
Is it?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Huh.
Oh yeah.
Beat the Hamill.
Beat the Hamill.
Oh man, the fucking vampire Hamills.
I love them.
I love that. Yeah. When we brought in the horde of Hamills on Daboom, that was great.
Yeah.
It's like
They were awful.
Humps and acid spit.
Yeah.
Yeah, the acid spit, dude. That sucked a lot.
I just remember the weird guy making like gloves and underwear out of the spider web.
Uh-huh. It's like out of the spot. It was like out of the skins and stuff.
Yeah.
They have like little hairs on it.
Yeah, that's what it
Climb.
was. That's what it was. Yeah. It was sticky.
He also made armor out of that scorpion.
Yeah. Which was a smart idea.
Yep.
I
It
remember.
was.
I remember you first started calling him Hamill. Because like we said, he looked like a human camel.
He hated it.
He hated it.
Camel. Yep.
He hated it, and I remember I was like, "It's okay, man. Don't worry about it. It's okay, Mark." And he was like, "Mark."
And he didn't get it.
I did that for
I remember
days.
that.
I kept calling him Mark, and finally I was like, "What the fuck do you mean by Mark?" I was like, the guy who plays Luke Skywalker. And he's like, "Huh?" I was like, "Mark Hamill," and he was like, "Yeah."
Yeah, he hated it. He embraced it eventually.
Yeah.
I guess he realized one day it's gonna keep happening. Fuck it. Turn into the.
And then
skid.
he started murring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'd be like, Hammy. He'd go, "Meh." That's good time.
Well, it was okay. I mean, it
Yeah.
wasn't a bad thing. Everybody had weird names.
It's just something you got to
Everybody?
deal with when
Most
you're
people.
growing up.
I mean, that was the asshole over there. And I was Fluff.
You were Fluff McPatterson.
Fucking Fluff.
I was an asshole. I was a dick.
Well, that too.
Dick, asshole,
I didn't have a weird
Prick.
nickname.
Huh?
I didn't have a weird nickname.
shithead.
It was Dolph
That's not weird.
and the Beaver.
You were
Dolphin.
the only one that's ever called me Beaver. The only one.
It's appropriate.
It is not appropriate.
And Johnny Porpoise.
You're an asshole.
Well, it's Dolphin. It's a porpoise. It's Johnny
Dolphin
Porpoise.
I
Porpoise.
get it. Shut up, Anthony.
Oh, that's great.
Johnny Porpoise.
Yeah, it's funny.
Johnny Porpoise. I love it.
Yeah. I remember when you first fucking did that, you were like, everybody's talking about all this, and there's other fish in the sea, and the other fish in the sea, and the only fish I care about is Johnny fucking Porpoise. I was like, you motherfucker. Because you made me sit outside when you gave that little promo. And you're like, because I was in for Nelson's. Everybody was in there for mine. And you're like, Dolph, I'm not going to do mine unless you're outside. Why? Because I'm not. So I'm sitting outside on the porch. And finally, because I'm the one that's going to upload and edit this shit, I'm like, that motherfucker.
I could cut a decent promo back then.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nelson get all mad.
You did the same thing to me, like whenever you cut the promo, like when we were doing the whole, the feud between WTF. You made me really go on the other side of the yard, and it wasn't until I watched it back when you were like, all these people are like, bitching about you guys, the WTF guy. I ain't gonna do that. And you got to me, and you're like, it don't matter if you call him this or Johnny Porpoise. He's still living in my shadow for the past 10 to 12 years. I was like, that motherfucker.
Well, it was Nelson. It was like, you're the big man. You're the big man. Well, there was something about with you standing there, I'd start laughing.
Yeah.
And I had to get focused, and I couldn't do that with you right there. It wasn't it. I mean, I knew you were going to hear it.
Yeah,
It
I
wasn't
know,
like
I
I was
know.
trying to keep it from you.
I know.
I had to focus, and I couldn't do that with you. It's like every time we would, like the times we try to overdub, and all of a sudden we're making each other laugh so much that it's not working.
It was good times.
We did that. Yeah, same thing. Like we started out with the origins, and you were like, "Okay, everybody, don't do any kind of music or sound effects, because I'll add that in later."
And
And it had
everybody
the
did.
fox thing at the beginning, and it was like, "Doot doot, doot doot," and then I and did like the Perry the
fucking-
Platypus thing. And then he just started busting up laughing. It's the very fucking beginning of the thing.
I remember distinctly, there was a scene with Stryker that you were talking for, and like you completely lost your train of thought. You didn't know what to say, and he was on the screen going, and you just went, and I fucking lost it. I had to like cover my mouth, get away from the fucking camera, and I was like, oh god.
I don't know why I gave him the whole little Perry thing, but it was good.
Worked out. Oh man.
Do it again.
Walked 500 miles.
Now we walk 500 more.
Oh.
Man.
Do the Perry again.
Do it.
Huh? Well, I was out of practice. That
Perry.
one wasn't my.
Do it.
I used to be able to.
No,
do
it was decent. Let's do it.
Hold on. Hold on a second. I need hydration.
You do need hydration.
Let me see. Nope. Nope. I ain't getting it. Out of practice.
Still funny.
Out of practice. You used to be able to do it real good.
I can't do it either.
You can do a Wookiee though.
I can do a Wookiee. I haven't done it in a long ass time.
Well, do
There's
it.
a spider.
Do a Wookiee.
Oh, okay.
Screw the. Yeah, I see it.
Huh?
I saw it.
Okay.
Wookiee.
Okay.
All right. This is my impression of a Wookiee.
Do you have a Wookiee, Anthony?
A very good one.
Here's my impression of a
terrible.
Wookiee. Hello.
I'm a Wookiee.
I'm a Wookiee. No. Give me a minute.
Great.
He needs hydration.
It's hard to do because, like, you got to do the gurgle thing, but you also got to get real nasally at the same time. So, hold on, bear with me. I got to do something before I do it.
That's not bad, man.
Oh, that's a baby Wookiee.
Baby Wookiee. But yeah.
Oh,
Good
shit.
times.
Probably got to wrap this up, guys.
Yeah,
I
it's
gotta-
about that time.
We're
Go
ending
do
with
some
Wookiees.
We're ending with Wookiees and
Wookiees.
Spider.
No, I got nothing. It's not working.
All right. Well, Anthony, it was nice having you on yet
Again.
Again, man, like you gotta
Yeah.
get nasally.
No, I can't do that.
It's closer.
Fuck it. I'm over it. I'm over it.
Under the sea.
He said over, not under.
You remember that, Anthony?
I do.
What?
Fuck
Oh,
me under the
God, dude.
sea.
Oh,
What
fuck,
am I
man.
missing?
Oh, yeah.
We were playing the Would You Rather game, and somebody's question was, Would you rather?
It wound up getting into Disney.
Yeah.
Is what it was doing.
And I don't remember
Yeah.
who it was. I know it was, Would you rather fuck Sebastian from Little Mermaid or somebody else? And Anthony was like, Sebastian. And then he started singing. He's like, how happy you'll be when you fuck me under the sea.
I was like, come fuck me under the sea.
It was hilarious.
And fucking everybody, I mean, we were smoking at the time, too.
Okay, that makes a little more sense. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's music.
Yeah, it was
It
way
was-
funnier.
Funnier than
But-
we're describing, but it was a good time. You just had to be there
Yeah.
under the sea.
I think that
Under
was
the
the
sea.
night I called your mom a bitch, actually.
No, don't do that. That's
We were also playing Worms. We were passing around a pipe, and she did. I was sitting right next to her, and I don't know if she took the pipe from me or something. And I was like, "Oh, you bitch!" like that, just being me, how I am, And the whole room stopped.
Yeah.
Everybody just went silent, and I was like, and I remember feeling my own face as soon as I said it and looked at her. I was like, bitch. Like my eyes and everything just got huge because she looked at me like, like, oh fuck, I'm going to die. This is when it happens. You know what I'm saying?
That's funny.
And everybody was like, I was like, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. And then I remember I burnt the shit out of my fingers on the pipe because it was really hot. I guess it was kind of like my penance.
I remember when
But
when JD decided to take that course of action.
Not a good idea.
No, he ended up getting like Sparta kicked down the staircase outside of the apartment. I thought he was
Oh,
gonna
man.
die. If Mikey wouldn't have caught him down there at the bottom, his head would have went straight through the glass next to the door.
Yeah, that's not good.
that would have been okay.
I mean, yeah, I don't think anybody would have been super duper upset. I know that sounds mean, but y'all don't know this guy.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, that was another one of those asked for it things.
Yeah, he ended up going to prison not too awful long ago.
No, good.
Did you not know this?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, he like tried to kill
You didn't
his
know that?
dad.
Oh no, I didn't know that.
He like stabbed the shit out of him.
Yeah, man.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It was a big deal.
Oh.
It's a very big deal.
Not to me. I cared not at all about him.
It was funny.
I mean, I don't really
like,
give a shit either, but it wound up being a big thing. is
2
what-
weeks before it happened, I had actually seen him because I went to Big O Tires in Jeffersonville because I needed a tire, and he was there, and I'm like, "Oh wow, man, how you been? I ain't seen you like forever." And he's like, "I'm doing okay, man. We should catch up." I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And like the whole time I'm going, "Yeah, probably not."
Yeah.
And then like 2 weeks later, I heard about that. I'm like, "Fuck, that's
Well,
insanity."
I just remember that after that whole incident, because I guess, okay, briefly, just very, very briefly, he said a bunch of stuff he shouldn't have and then tried to deny it.
Yeah.
I called him out on it in front of Mom and tried to get him to go outside because I was going to take care of it because, you don't fight in the house. That was the rule.
No, that's the rule.
Right.
And he wouldn't go outside. And he just kept on doing it. He's not going to fight you, James. Not going to do it. Not going to do it. and then eventually apologized to Mom, and then walked out of the door into the hallway of the apartment, and then started going, "If you ever put your hands on me again," started running his mouth as soon as he got out there. And then I went out in the hallway, and he was like, "What,
When
you gonna push me
when
down
he
the stairs?"
failed-
That's what he's like, "What, you gonna
He
push me
failed.
down the stairs?" I said, "Nope." And then I Sparta kicked him.
Failed to realize as soon as he exited the doorway,
Which is what I wanted him to do to
Rules.
begin with.
the rule was no longer in effect because you weren't inside.
Yeah, and then we did that, and then he was at the bottom of the stairs and still wouldn't go outside. Did all that, finally got all that taken care of, and he apologized again and everything, and calmed down, and realized that again he shouldn't be stupid. That's
Yeah.
the best way to put it. And then he didn't. He was, every time I talked to him after that for years, he was very respectful to me and everything. Extremely, extremely respectful. And then I remember
bet.
being over at A.W. Diane's house, and he showed up there, and I was with my previous girlfriend at the time, and we had been like basically watching after their cats. They were at the house, and she was just like, "Hey, I'm keeping your cat." And he was like, "No, you're not." And it's like, "Well, look, we've been taking care of it for this long. I'm gonna keep your cat." And she was joking mostly. She was laughing, and then he started going off on her and started cussing at her. And I just went, "Hey, you're gonna stop your shit now. You're gonna apologize, and that shit's gonna stop real quick." And he was like, "I am sorry. I didn't mean to do this." And it just went immediately straight into this full on. And it's like, "I'm sorry if I've offended you."
That's so funny.
And that was it. Yeah, I think that was the last time I talked to him.
Times.
It was amusing.
All right, fellas.
Yeah, we did that. We said we were going
It's
to, and then we
that
went off
time.
into other stuff.
All right. Well, again, this episode of Rigmarole with Dolph and James was not brought to you by D's Nuts
Or Better Health.
or Better Health.
Or any of the other shit that we mentioned
Yeah.
that were stripper boobs, money, unfortunately.
It's true. All right. Well, thank you for listening / watching this episode of
The Rigmarole podcast.
with Dolph and James.
And sometimes Anthony.
Don't be a Nazi.
Don't be a Nazi.
Don't be a Nazi.